All right. So let's get started. Topic.
I hate to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
Gambit, can you change your name to THC Gambit? Okay. I feel like it'd be perfect. Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, good
I
job.
got you.
Hold on.
Shit, I don't know how to. Oh, yes, I do.
GSUGambit.
Oh boy.
He's making a comeback.
Here.
Oh.
Perfect.
Okay. Fun. All right. Topic one. Is immigration actually harmful to the Black community? Should it be embraced as an opportunity to strengthen our communities and political power, or should newcomers be looked at as an opposing party that are taking up limited resources, such as in the form of jobs? So this is a thing. This is a refrain you hear a lot. That it's like you'll hear conservative politicians say this because all of a sudden they give a crap about the Black community. We'll say that this is like we have these immigrants coming in and they're taking jobs away from people, especially Black individuals, and they'll try to pit our communities against each other. But I mean, one, do you want to come at this from a point of solidarity, or like since there are limited resources and there are a limited number of jobs, I should be looking at this as a competition. Right, so we'll get started. We'll do an introduction to each person. Right, each person gets an introduction. We'll go from there. All right, top dolphin.
Yeah, I guess on this issue specifically, I think that like there so to start like with some like evidence, I think that there's actually some data out there that shows that most of the time like immigrants are pretty harmless. But like the groups that they do generally impact in a negative way are like poor minority groups, and African Americans being especially like overrepresented in poor groups get hurt a lot by this. But I don't necessarily think that the solution to that, even if it's true, is to like treat it as a competition, and instead like we can try to work together in ways that benefit everyone, and especially implement policy that like brings people out of poverty so it doesn't hurt us as much.
Okay, next, Sig Natural.
Just judging from looking at this from a historical perspective, like we've always competed with like immigrant groups for jobs, right? So as long as like immigration has been a thing constantly happening over and over and over again, and like there's a lot of violence that's gone on against Black communities when competition happens. Everything, even if competition that we don't necessarily initiate, even in like Southern communities, when it comes to a lot of the problems against the Black community were largely labor related, especially after slavery, right? I think that the best thing for us, since we tend to lose battles whenever it's against people competing for labor, is to work with people together and create like a solid, working class blocks that can actually defend themselves instead of be pitted against each other by people with competing interests.
Thank you, thank you. Next, Smooth.
To look at this from just a completely like modern day perspective, my thoughts is this. Jobs that they're going for aren't typical jobs that Black people are even applying for. I don't even feel like they're competition to us in a way. I feel like it's just a way to further divide people against the people that are your actual oppressor. And we need to keep our focus on our actual oppressor and not these new guys that just got here.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Frankie.
I will kind of echo kind of what Smooth says. I think immigration, they don't really take away jobs because usually they're getting jobs from, and it hides a bigger issue of companies trying to pay people under the table so they could get a tax break. And then politicians, they use to skew the narrative to keep people, pretty much people that are benefiting, keep them out of the limelight. Because so instead of blaming them, saying that they're paying people legally and getting people to do jobs that no one else wants to do because they don't want to pay people a fair wage, they're saying, oh, it's the immigrants taking jobs, and they're not really taking legal jobs. It's everything's under the table, and it hides the bigger issue.
Chris.
Yeah, I think it'd be a smart idea for us not to pick up some of the rhetoric of like certain conservatives who like push these anti-immigration things. It's what Sig Natural said it perfectly. Work together with these people. Right now, in the context of what's going on right now, there's so many jobs available for people. Well, depending on where you are, where you're from. Like jobs are like crazy available right now. So many like places that are just shutting down from just not even having workers. So like that's no excuse. Like they're not taking any jobs. Like it's just never that simple in the first place. There was never an issue, especially if you're living in a big city. Work is plentiful and it's available. I think the more important thing is helping some of these people who are immigrating to like feel comfortable in communities and helping grow with you. And just like build stronger communities that like diversity is a good thing. And I don't think these people come here to start problems with you. So I don't see why there'd be a reason for you to start problems with people coming in. That's all I got.
Okay, all right. KTN.
All right. So, being one of the residents, I'm a child of immigrants. So I can speak to this part of the situation where, yes, there are groups of people who come from other countries who come with the competitive, with like not necessarily a competitive approach towards African Americans, but a competitive, like not with the best image. Like I always say, globally, being black is another issue because being black globally isn't exactly seen in the best light. So automatically, when some people do come to this country, they have the idea that African Americans aren't working as hard or they're lazy. And to this day, in 2022, this is still, 2021. Sorry, I'm a year off. I'm in the future, guys. To this day, that attitude still persists with some immigrant groups, whether it be Black immigrant groups or it be immigrant groups of Eastern, Western, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Caribbean. I've heard these things from people, and to be honest, there is also, so I wouldn't say that I would say that it's good, but I think there's a larger problem with more the dynamics between the cultures, and there is like there is these already embedded images of African Americans. I think that's a bigger problem. You know what I mean? Because no one works harder than African American. I wouldn't. No one works harder than people who are underserved because they have to work twice as hard to get just as far as everyone else. So, as a person who is the child of immigrants, and I know plenty of immigrants who come into this country, and they do have these embedded attitudes, and it does cause contention. I believe that that's the bigger problem.
Okay. Cal.
Man, I just want to know what jobs are they talking about? What jobs are immigrants taking away from us? Because, like, here's my thing, man. Like Alan was kind of saying, a lot of these immigrants when they come in, they're taking like under the table paying jobs and whatnot. Usually those are kind of lower wage jobs. So are they trying to make the argument that it seems a little condescending because it's like they're trying to say immigrants are coming in and taking like the poorer jobs from African Americans and they need that. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. And then with them saying, oh, there's limited resources. Well, who the fuck got all the resources? We know who got all the resources. So I don't even think that is the right thing for them to try to pit us against each other and form this kind of faux competition because the resources are hoarded on one side. So I'm not really buying that.
I mean, to be clear,
we're not done.
I'm sorry.
Gambit.
Dolphin already cut me off, man. Come on, bro. In the opening,
I gotta start
can't even-
early.
Nah, I'm playing. So when I first read this topic, I said, wait, how is this a topic? Of course not. And I still think that the answer is I'm always going to be in favor of diversity. But I do think there are ways that I don't think immigrants are hurting Black people, but I think people's perception is flawed and that hurts Black people. So one thing I would point to is a lot of people look at the either test score rates of immigrant groups or the economic status of immigrant groups, and they compare it to like the status of Black people in America. And they don't look at that, one, sometimes immigrants have a better economic status before they immigrate to this country. But two, also that a lot of the immigrants that are accepted to this country, they usually have some kind of plan. And as Black people, we've like historically been oppressed. There's never been nothing systemically done to help us. So it's kind of a uneven view. So you'll see people point to, oh, look at the average test scores, or oh, look at the average socioeconomic status, and blah blah blah. But I think they don't take those things into account, and I think that hurts us internally sometimes when we look at the stats and we say, whoa, wait, why is every other group possible in America doing better than Black people? But if you don't look at these things with nuance, you can come away with feelings of self-hate, or if you're outside of our community, feelings of like inferiority. So I think in that way, somewhat Black people can be hurt. But I also think to address some of the things that I've heard said, I think one of the things that we should do is we should look at how some of these immigrant groups are moving to our country and leveling up. So as I always talk about, I'm a software engineer and I am in software engineering, obviously, right? And a lot of my Indian friends that come here, they come here first generation and they're going to retire with like an incredible amount of generational wealth. And I want to see our community start to embrace some of these career fields that have like tremendous amounts of job openings, but we aren't fulfilling those jobs. So I want to see us look at like economic trends, take advantage of it. And I think looking at how some of our immigrant brothers and sisters move through society is a way to do that.
All right, Top Dolphin, you desperately need to cut someone off, so go ahead.
Oh, I guess what I just wanted to say, we have to be like very clear in that, like, in two things. And one is I hear a lot of people saying, oh, like immigrants who come in are like taking illegal jobs. Well, illegal jobs, like if people are willing to work under the table, those take jobs from people who would have worked like legitimate over the table jobs.
So
and the second, but more important, I think it's very important to talk about like the immigrant populations that we're discussing here, because there's a big difference from people who immigrate overseas to the United States and people who immigrate from within, like over the border, like from like Mexico. Like these are vastly different groups of people. People who immigrate overseas are generally just going to be in much better situations than someone who's able to cross the border through Mexico.
Yeah,
and it's those people
so,
right, that necessarily hurt.
So my problem with the answers was, and you guys are trying to get to it, is that so many of you seem to assume that the immigrants I was talking about were undocumented immigrants. The thing didn't say anything about that. To say that, well, they're taking jobs that are under the table. Who said that? Like, are you sure? There was, in going to IT, which is what GSU was talking about, there's this story I always tell about what happened at Disney. At their parks, Disney had a group of people in their server rooms, right? They were running the park system, like their Walt Disney World systems, doing great jobs, right? They literally just had a review talking about like how each of these employees were just knocking out of the park, doing amazing work, right? But then Disney got these I forget which visas they are, but they allowed them to grab workers from India, and they decided to switch them out with that server team that was successful, that was doing the job. They decided to switch them out for lower priced Indian individuals, and that team had to train their replacements to get their severance package. And the team was like, yeah, these people actually don't know as much as we do. But, you know, they did it any which way. But there was nothing under the table about it. So, like, yeah, I'm talking about immigration in general. But, yeah.
Well, that kind of immigration, that would fall, in my opinion, in the category of just evil corp. I mean, that can be done in America within, in America, like a lot of people I've heard the stories of people having jobs, doing well. They make, they start to make 100K, and then all of a sudden the upper management is like, oh, we've got new employees, they're making 50K, and then all of a sudden you got to train them, and all of a sudden you get your pink slip. Oh, sorry, we got to lay you off, budget, et cetera, et cetera. So now you're training someone. So they do that within, and like they're not, and like they're doing that within people of the same, like, they start doing this to like other people of, white people. Like they're not doing.
They'll even outsource. too.
Yeah,
People aren't
yeah,
even in the
That's
country.
more
yeah, and then
like
they'll
outsourcing.
you know, and they'll also do contract workers and just be like, all right, we're going to just change the status of these employees, or just like, you know, we're going to move from regularly paid employees to just contract workers. And it has nothing to do with immigration or race. It just has to do with the fact that these companies are just essentially evil. You know what I mean? They're just
Well,
like, okay, well, we don't want to pay these people. So, you know, I understand that, but I almost feel like that's just badass capitalism.
well,
Frankie?
and I think that's the point I was making too. It's like they use that to hide the bigger problem, and the bigger problem is that the companies, like I said, they want to, like you said, K10 said that they're evil. They want to make more money, and no amount of money is enough money. And I'm saying they throw out immigration to hide the bigger problem, and that's pretty much how it goes. And yeah, you kind of assume that we were thinking that we're saying illegal immigration status, but I know people who aren't illegal have immigrated and still taking under the table jobs, because it is part of the bigger system as well too, especially in hospitality. And when I lived in Vegas, a lot of people, they took these hospitality jobs under the table even though they're totally illegal, because they were making more money. So and that's the issue. That's the issue too, because they can't make a decent wage.
I'm not even. I'm just sorry. I'm not even into the whole like. I don't know. I was never introduced to like this whole illegal immigration stuff. Like I was just thinking about just immigration in general. It's just like is immigration actually harmful to the Black community? And to me, it's just like this is very clearly just one of those topics where it's supposed to divert your ideas away from the fact that we're living under late stage capitalism, right? I know that's like a big meme. People keep saying it, but it's completely true, man. Like who's got the fucking resources? Just like Cal said. All right, it's not these immigrants coming over. They just want a piece of the fucking pie. Okay, that's it. They're trying to make theirs just like everybody else. All right. And like there's no reason to be like blaming them and scapegoating these people and saying, oh yeah, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. It's not people that just want to make work. Just want to make money. That's it.
Chris, and then Smooth.
My question is, what like problems are there that people believe that immigrants are causing in this day and age? I can understand the old arguments of like immigrants taking jobs, but that's not the case like right now. And like most of the arguments I see from conservatives is like the worry of safety and like how culture is mixed, like right, and the problems that come out of that. Right, nobody's really using the like job argument really these days all that much. Like I don't. There's no reason to use that argument. So I don't know what problems are we like really worried about with more immigrants coming in.
They use a
Racism.
job argument out west though still, and I think it just depends on where you're at, what argument they use. Because in Northern California it's more about the job. In Southern California, like you said, it more alludes to the safety of it, is because we're closer to the border, and that's how it is in Arizona. But like up in like pretty much up in Oakland, it's more about they're taking away jobs and everything, and same thing with the Central Coast too, and in Oxnard, because it's a lot of it's a rural area and they have farmlands and everything over there, and that's what they blame. They're saying they're taking the jobs away from other people who could do that. But I think it's, like I said, they're hiding the real issue, and it's not as big of an issue as they're making it. They're just trying to divert us. And go ahead, Smith. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but real like, okay, what the average age on this? Like, we're what 40 and down, right? What 40 and down person is actively attempting to work in hospitality, farming, you know what I'm saying? Like those jobs, like the jobs that they're taking. Like now, when you get into the IT stuff, like yeah, like people want those jobs, but pursuing those careers in the Black community, like nobody, like there's a lot of us going. There's more now than ever going into IT, but there's not as many as there could and should be. They're still getting pigeonholed into what they're being told by their parents. You know what I'm saying? They're not being told the correct things. If they were being told the correct things and actually pursuing the correct jobs, they would have those jobs. However, they don't learn about it till they're already like 25, 26. And now they're trying to play catch up. And so yeah, the immigrant got your job because from 18 to now, been in IT doing what you were supposed to be doing. So he now has the experience and the resume available to actually get the job. That's our fault as a community for not educating them.
Man,
That's
I'll
how
put
I
it
feel.
this way: as someone who works in the IT industry, they constantly outsource cheap IT labor. Like I don't know what it is about it, but those same people that
Oh
are
yeah.
talking about the immigrants coming in to get your jobs are the same people trying to find the lowest bidder on whatever IT work they need them to do.
Well, I'm going to
So
give you. I have an interesting take on the idea of why IT is always getting shone in most jobs. So someone told me a really good analysis of this, and he was like, "Listen, the reason why IT is always overstretched, overworked, et cetera, in whatever industry, it is because it's the one part. Like, ad agency, everybody makes money except for IT. Your job and most jobs in IT is to like manage the infrastructure, manage all the data, et cetera, et cetera. So, but that doesn't make it. There's no unless you work in an IT industry that's actually like that. The IT is the moneymaker. You're basically a drain on the business. So they're always looking to find someone cheaper to do all that technical stuff. So it's not like if you're at an ad agency, you're not producing any ads, you're not doing anything, but you're making sure that the ad team can do their job. If you're working at a hospital, you're not you're not doing any of the actual medical billing, but you have to make sure that all those medical records get done and all those computers and all those things get done. If you're working in you're working, I don't know, film industry, you're not creating any content, but you got to make sure that content goes through all those data lines. You got to make sure all those emails are captured. You got to make sure all the. So from what I remember being told, that was one of the reasons why. Because I remember working in an IT job, and I was like, why are we understaffed constantly? And the guy was like, because we don't make any money. You know what I mean? So, but that's just a side issue. But
I can add on.
IT work is the new slavery, damn near.
Well, and I can add on to that.
I don't know.
Not
No,
that.
no,
Yeah,
bro.
no
The amount of money.
No, not
anything
in the okay, not in the literal sense, but
or
as in like
or a metaphorical
how
sense.
McDonald's. Okay,
I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's I don't think it's even comparable to like Amazon workers. You see what
Then
those
we're
workers do?
sounding like
Pissing in bottles, you know.
Then we sound like anti-vaxxers and
Okay,
and anti-maskers, like the muzzle of slavery. Nah,
It's more like the new McDonald's work. How about that? Is that
But I'll
okay?
also go with IT though, is that the versatility of the administrative assistant and them giving them more stuff so they could think they could offload some of the responsibilities of IT makes them so they cut out more IT jobs now. So it's not just the IT part that's getting stretched in, like admin assistants are getting stretched in as well too, because they're throwing more on them. And then once you're too good, you make too much money, they cut them and then hire a new one.
but once again, that goes back to
I'm not
evil
even
core.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
not even
like
gonna lie. I work for a tech company. And they I do like customer service and stuff like that. And obviously for this, we need 24/7 kind of service. So some people need to do like the after hour stuff. And they outsource those to is it like fucking Colombia or some shit? But they don't know English very well, okay? And I do messaging where they text the people and they text and everything. And sometimes I get cases where the person before me, it's very clear that they are just not following the fucking plot, okay? And it's just kind of like, and you have to often you just have to clean up after these folks. And I'm just kind of like, what the hell's going on here? Like, why I got? It can be quite frustrating, as that sort of. But yeah, that's an outsource.
Yeah, I feel like a little bit y'all not keeping it a buck though. I feel like we memeing a little bit on like Mexican immigrants and the jobs that they do, but immigration is far bigger than just Mexico. And like when we look at like
didn't we just state that that was
no,
yeah,
let me
like
finish.
We're
Let
talking
me
about
finish, though.
outsourcing jobs to
Most
India. We're talking about
IT
India.
work is like outsourced to Indians.
Yeah,
like-
and
Yeah,
hospitality
so
is
I
not
want
just
to
Mexicans
just finish
either.
real quick. When we look at it, a lot of communities do have like a stigma or a stereotype for a thing that they're known for, right? Like Asians own like I think it's hotels, like Indians in IT, you got like uh uh some I guess Islamic, I don't know what gas stations, right? Like every community has their like thing, right? And we don't really have one. So
but
in some ways, I don't want to say
sports and
that
entertainment. I mean, honestly, and if you want to talk about the meme of like,
sure,
what cultures have,
for
sports and
sure.
entertainment is the black realm. But the thing
Yeah,
I was
but hold on,
but I
wait.
want
But
to
I
add
want
on. Go ahead.
yeah, I just want to finish. Yeah, because you bring up social entertainment. It's true that we dominate that completely, but there's not as many of those jobs as there are in other fields, right? So there's like LeBron James and his family. There's Kobe and his family, and like, there's like 450 players and stuff. But these other industries have like hundreds and thousands, if not millions, of jobs, right? So I don't, and this is not like an anti-immigration thing. I'm all supportive of it. I just think we need to look at these cultures and digest what's happening, and that will help us move better.
I want to
Kind of piggyback off of what Gamba said.
It kind of goes to one of my old things that I was briefing with Sig Natural about. African Americans or just Black people in general need to attack an industry and just say, hey, we're going to focus on, because most cultures do it. Like a lot of cultures just say, we want this industry, we're going to just go into it. And obviously there's obviously some nepotism, there's obviously some cronyism involved, but they get the foothold. And I remember Sig Natural was busting on me about like Black capitalism, because he was like, oh, so we're going to just Jay-Z our way into it. And I was like, yo, bro, like, I mean, it's just the way most industries do it. Most cultures do it. Cultures will just focus on an industry. They will dominate the industry, and they will stick into it and be synonymous for it. I mean, what's a synonymous one? The Korean grocery store. In New York City, the bodega is mostly Dominican or Puerto Rican.
Nail shop is Chinese. Your hair store is
or
Chinese.
Vietnamese.
Nail shop is Vietnamese.
Asian,
My
something.
partner's half Vietnamese, so nail shop is Vietnamese. On the West Coast, on the East Coast, it's actually Chinese or Korean.
I don't know, man. I think the issue is a lot of times those people are coming from like kind of homogenous like countries, and Black culture in America is not consistent everywhere.
Exactly.
It's different. So I don't even know if we could really get everybody on board to do something like that as a whole. You know what I mean?
Like we can't chain migrate to like a country where like some people get a foothold in the industry and then more come to that area where it's like, okay, I'll hire my brother, I'll hire my cousin, I'll hire my friend, I'll hire this person, and then that's how that happens.
We can
want to hear
Black,
well,
we
want to hear a hot
Black.
take. You want to hear my hot take? You want to hear my hot take on how we got sports and entertainment?
Hold on.
Competition. Like African Americans literally compete against each other for these spots. If you look at the culture in rap music, it's all about who's a better musician.
KTN, I gotta say I disagree. I think that the only reason that African Americans historically got a foothold in sports and entertainment was because of stereotyping of us and what we were historically allowed to what we were allowed to do, right? Like Black people
100%.
fighting each other in a boxing ring was expected. Okay, that's a big reason why that foothold was out have. For a long time,
the competition.
Black people were considered like weaker than white people. I know this is actually crazy. We were considered weak and
no,
nothing.
I know the story about the Black heavyweight boxer who beat the tar out of that dude. And they refused to let him fight in the heavyweight because they were like, no way in hell are we going to risk the idea of a Black man beating a white man in a heavyweight boxing match. No, because that.
And then it made a lot of money, and everyone wanted to see it, and so that's how like we got our foothold.
I understand that, but still, I'm not even talking about from back then. I'm talking about like currently now, why we still stay in this field.
I think
if you look at sports and entertainment, a lot of it is and it's kind of
social.
I'm talking about like not having cohesion or unity or cohesion or like kind of being on the same page about certain things. When it comes to sports or entertainment, most African Americans are pseudo competing with each other.
Well, I think it's a little important to note like some key differences. Like, how is America viewed around the world? You know what I mean? Because those people coming from those countries with those cultures were like, hey, we're all going to get in this. They also want to be in America. Like they're trying to go somewhere where they think is better than where they're living. You know what I mean? And we're already in America. So I think that's a little different.
Yeah,
the way that they
something else is that like
America
it's not like most immigrant populations don't like come over and like, oh, we're gonna take over this industry. A lot of times they have like when you come from another country, like there's like things that come with that. Generally, you're like a little bit more wealthy than the people who come in your country. You're a little bit more well off. You're probably a little bit more educated. You're also gonna have like a set of skills, based on like the industries in your country. So this is why, for example, or it doesn't even have to be country. Sometimes it's like groups of people. For example, Jewish people and working in the financial industry, they have like a history there, or like Indian people with like technology. There was like a need there, and a lot of times it's not that like they're manufacturing like some industry, like they're like, oh, we pick that industry. A lot of times it's something that comes from like the home country where they immigrate from, or the culture where they immigrate from. It's not like they're just like picking an industry out of a hat and like we're gonna take over that one because
With
that's where the money is.
with software
There's also
engineering,
that.
it is a specific pick. I've talked to quite a few people that came from India first generation, and everyone that I know has a similar story where their parents sacrificed so that they could go to school for engineering, for specifically software engineering, because they knew it would be profitable, like almost like across the board.
There's a movement called
Every-
India Stack. In fact,
Yeah, but I think also, and
so I didn't mean to cut you off, Gambit.
Oh no, you didn't. Though.
but I think also software is something that's universal, because there's other stuff where people come over and for with different degrees or different education and they have to start over too, which is why I think a lot of times they pick things that cross over as well too. Because I used to, with my job, I used to deal a lot with Chinese immigrants as well coming over.
Yeah, and you
And-
also you have to, oh sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say you have to remember, like when you can say like software, oh they choose this job because that's where the money is. But the reason a lot of them choose this job is because a lot of people in India work in software jobs. American countries outsource their IT work to India a lot, and so they have a lot of people with IT experience, but they pay over their shit, and they know they can get more over here. So the people who have money, enough money to come over, they come over and they target this industry because that's the skills that they kind of already have. And that's the industry that they have in their country.
And it crosses
I
over
want to say,
too.
I think Cal actually brought up a great point here. A point that I don't hear enough, like spoken, is that like it's fallacious, I think, to just compare African Americans to immigrant populations just in America.
Yeah.
Okay, it always has been fallacious to do this comparison, but you hear this a lot from like other folks. It happens all the time. It's just like we never think about the white American community. When when like there are like poor like white American like towns and stuff like that. In Pennsylvania, the fucking ex-coal towns with no jobs where they're fucking killing each other with heroin and fentanyl. Like nobody's fucking saying what's going on with the white community. Why doesn't the white community do something to solve it? Look at these communities. Like no one's talking like that.
Yeah,
right?
that is very,
It's only
very
kind
true.
of like it's like they talk about this with us, even though we're just down here, in fucked up areas and everything due to a lot of reasons, just like other people are and everything. Right? And it's the same reasons.
Sorry,
gonna
Cal.
add on to
If
Signature.
you can mute yourself, we're getting background noise from you.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
I want to add this natural because Erie, Pennsylvania is like the poorest zip code in America, and I've been out there and there's so many problems and no one goes up into there and like Sig Natural says, what's up with the white community, but then you go 2 hours down the road to Cleveland, and then they're like, what's up with the black? Why is it so messed up? And Cleveland is more affluent and it's better than Erie, Pennsylvania, but and because of black people there. But it's something's wrong with them. So, and it's funny because and they're in the same proximity, same everything within 2 hours of each other. And one town is, for lack of a better term, a shithole. And everything's all right, and everything's perfect. And then 2 hours where people are actually prospering, and there's some complaints about it, and that's when they bring in the immigrants taking jobs, the sex trafficking, and all these other issues, and they try to put it on immigrants and the other minorities.
Chris Cosmo.
Yeah.
Well, Frankie, what you just brought up, a lot of that is because like a lot of those white communities, especially, they don't change with the times, right? When new industries pop up, they're still clinging to the old ones. Things are changing, especially nowadays. Things are changing rapidly. I see it here in Ohio. I'm in Ohio, so right. Even like here in my city, like you have like extremely integrated neighborhoods, and you have like in certain neighborhoods, white individuals like completely like just doing like terrible, right? There's a lot of like problems, and like they're living right next to immigrants and black people who are doing relatively fine because like these like I'd say for immigrants and like and black people especially, being able to move to different jobs is like something you're able to do, right? If you need to like change over, just jump into a new job, you have to do it because you're used to having to like survive, right? So you take what job you can get, or like you end up getting fired. It doesn't matter. You have to jump into something new. A lot of white people like, or they've been in an industry for years, say like so steel. There was a big thing here for a while, and once that went away, like those people didn't go try to find new jobs or new careers, or they tried to find some things close to that, but did like if you were lucky, they were able to find something close to that. And it's not every like white person in it. Like there's plenty of white people in the state that's doing very fine and well above fine. It's just that the idea of like what work is and what you have to do, like it just changes. Like even when it comes to like right now, I don't know. I'm on this side of the country. Is on the East Coast. People are tripping over jobs. There's jobs everywhere, right?
Yes.
Companies are shutting down because they can't get enough people. So it's like, and it's if you want a job, you can go get one. It's all about whether or not you want to work towards like learning that new skill. Even if for IT, like for software development, every single company needs software developers, needs IT, needs an IT department, needs someone working on computers. Doesn't matter what like company it is, because like the future is like technology right now. So if you don't have an IT department, if you don't have someone working on your computers, like you're never going to make it as a company. So like those jobs are so plentiful that even if like a company lays off a bunch of people because they're outsourcing jobs, there's so many companies like that need people that are desperate to hire people. Like you just jump to the next one. That's what a lot of people are doing. Right now, I don't see like as far as work is concerned, like pay is like the number one issue for me. If you're not paying like a lot, that's the problem. If you're not paying it like a working wage, that's the issue a lot of people are having, that they're having to work multiple jobs. I think that's starting to change because a lot of these companies are being forced to actually pay people more. Right now, traveling nurses are getting paid $10,000 a week. It's getting crazy, right? Like our McDonald's in my city is like paying $15 an hour now. They were just like forced to do it because people were like, fuck it, we're not going to work if like nothing's going to change,
Yeah,
especially over COVID. Like it is
I'm so
like the
jealous of
shifts are
some of
getting
these
crazy.
teenagers.
yeah, that's how I was
I'm
at
jealous of some of these
Sandusky.
teenagers.
So let's go to Gambit, then Smooth, and all right, then KT.
Yeah, one thing I was gonna say, and this is like where we step in the Umar Johnson territory, but like when there is a meme about black cities, but one thing that I would say, and that Umar would definitely agree with, one of the only things I agree with him on almost, is that we do need to better own the cities that we do control, right? Like we need to own the local everything, really, if you ask me. But we should definitely be more interested in like buying black and supporting black business and things like that, because like I think forever asked in chat, like, what are we gonna do if all of our systemic problems have not been addressed? And I'm a big fan of UBI and a bunch of other stuff that would help black people, but I don't see our government implementing those things, and maybe directly because it'll help black people. But so I feel like like we have to band together, and it's completely unfair because no community really does this, right? Like, well, communities do this, but no, like race does this on like a mass scale. But I feel like we have to get into our communities, start businesses, support ourselves. Like it's ridiculous that like there isn't like a major black owned like hair chain, right? Like we all buy, like all our women buy hair and stuff, but like we aren't known for that. It's more known, I think, Japanese. I can't remember what community, but like
Mhm.
I just think that we live in a capitalist society, and we have to start to take advantage of capitalism and use it for our advantage. I know we can meme all day about what utopia we want, but in this reality, this time that we are in, like that's the game, and we just have to do it better.
People need to, man, one of the main things with what you're saying is black people don't really own a lot. Like we got money, even if we put that money into the black community, like what we really need to be going after is ownership. That's where most of the wealth is at. We need to own these businesses. You're saying, hey, let's start more businesses. Well, we need to own the plate. We need to own the land that we start the business on. There's stuff
Sure.
like that that we need to run in. So I agree with you. We do need to take advantage of capitalism. We need to become more financially literate. We need to learn investing, how it works, stock
Mhm.
market, real estate market, all of that stuff. Now, I think that's really the only way that we could leverage the playing field
Let's
with
go to
money.
Smooth.
And
I
just
mean,
one
Hold on,
sentence,
Okay.
hold on.
just
So
one sentence, because
oh,
Solid in the
wait.
chat was saying, you forget we've been trying this since slavery. I don't disagree, right? Like We have had coordinated attacks from white people on Black communities that are trying to be affluent, but I still think we have to still try again and again and again, and like we can't give up on these things. Like, blah. We'll talk about it later. Go
Smooth.
ahead.
Okay, so real quick, so to respond to what is his name? I'm trying to see it. Okay, to respond to top Dolphins point about and you know what, I forgot what I was gonna say about his
I had
point. I just
something
wanted to respond
I
to
wanted
something.
to say to
It
you.
was no, I know what it was. I remember what it was now. So I'm gonna sound kind of like Sig Natural here. Like historically speaking, I just lost my thought again. Forget that thought. But anyway, like I wanted to say, the community is to get definitely needs to come together or whatever. I put that in the chat earlier. We definitely need to come together. Now, what that looks like, I don't know, because we have been bought into now I remember my previous point, so I'm gonna make it real fast while I got it. We have been the scapegoat ever. Like since the 1800s, we have been the historical scapegoat. So whatever goes wrong in America, they just turn to Black people. Oh, well, look at this problem and look at this and look at this. If they would just get themselves together, then the city would be better. If they would just get themselves together, then we would have a better economy. But they don't want to participate in the economy. They want to be welfare queens and kings and all this other stuff. They historically just go to us to blame us for what we've done. That's what they always do. That wasn't a counterpoint. That was in support of what he said previously. But to go to my point about us coming together, that looks like, I don't know if our generation will be the one to actually fully fix it. Or at least we're talking about it now, having online discussions, actually sitting here.
You might need to
coming
get
together
closer to your mic.
Okay, can you hear me?
Way
Yeah.
better. Way better. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So need to definitely like come together, and we're having a discussion. That's what I'm saying. So at least we're having the discussions about it, and we're talking about methods in which we can do it. Now, what needs to happen is the action part of this. The action part of this is actually imparting that into the younger generation. Like I know whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody ain't cut out to be a rapper, an entertainer, and all of that stuff. And you have to be honest with them. You have got to be honest. Gotta be, because they're wasting good years that they could actually be building up and supporting the community, their skills some other type of way. Like another way, like everybody's not going, like, bro, if you 5'8", you're not finna make it to the league, man. I'm sorry to tell you, you're just not finna make it. There's some dude that's 6'2" that's like as good as you. They're gonna take him. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. I'm saying,
I love it.
Not even most point guards now are like 6'6". So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like you got to give them reality, hard doses of reality. And I know as a Black community, like, you know what I'm saying, having those moments of them feeling good about themselves and all that stuff, like, cool. You could do, if you get a scholarship to go to college, right? And you could play college ball and you're a shorter guy, that's fine. But while you're in college, you stay there the entire time and you get a degree. Steph Curry is like 6'3", bro. Just to answer your question on the fly, he's about 6'3" ish. Yeah, 6'3". Yeah, it's crazy. Like even the shorter guys, they're not short. Like
that
you know
proved
what I'm saying?
your point
And
too.
even right. And even as like artists go, you know what I'm saying? You have all these top tier artists that are still like putting out good material. I can't name you the number of albums that dropped between Donda and Drake, Kanye and Drake dropping. A lot of artists drop stuff, and guess what? Nobody heard it really. Nobody. You were in no man's land. It's hard to compete with all these people that are already here. Like you gotta find something else to do. Like you know what I'm saying? You gotta find another way to build yourself up.
Well, actually,
I want to add.
So we got.
I want to push back in.
We got a few people. So let's go to K10, who was next. Chris, and then Frankie. I think you had your hand up. Top Dolphin.
Yeah, just add this Smooth. I mean, yeah, just letting college kids know, like if you're an athlete, out of a team of 15, in high school, 2 of you might make it to NCAA on a scholarship. 1 of you might make it onto the walk-on, but it's the idea that the rest of you have the grades, you've been working to stay on this team, you go to a local college, etc., pivot to a different career, but you're right, nobody instills the idea that like, use sports to get yourself to another level. Okay, that's fine. Then you want to talk about property ownership. I think that the Black community has lost the way with property ownership, because even commercial property is what really builds communities. It's those properties that you own to start businesses. And it's like the idea that like, knowledge of finance, like government finance, knowledge of like of government loans, knowledge, like all those things are like aren't really like in the ether, like in the lexicon. Like, other communities, they know about getting a loan for low income housing. They know about getting a loan for for their first home. They know about, like, there's just so many things that are just kind of like that aren't in the conversation, in because who uses the government more than anybody, white businessmen. White businessmen will use the government up and down, and it's something that's not being used. So it's like when people say, African Americans are like welfare queens, et cetera, it's like, no, not really. They're using the wrong part of the government. You know what I mean? Look at I'll take a bad example. All these PPP scams.
Jesus
All of a sudden, everybody finally knows how to use the government when it comes to doing something like this. And it's like, and to me, I'm heartbroken, because I'm like, damn, bro, like you couldn't just use that. Like, I know about the first time homeowners loan, 5% down, got to get your credit to like 600 or no 650 or something like that. A lot of people could qualify for that, especially if you're getting your first property. And if like if people took the same initiative to get that loan with a decent credit score and get their first home, I'm sure that could have helped, a good portion of the African American community. But a bunch of people decided, that it was easier to file like, PPE loans and, create 30, 40 different identities to like collect checks, which now is just a debacle. I mean, it's basically a meme in the Black community right now, how many people are getting caught. And I'm not saying that we have done that disproportionately. I'm not saying we're overrepresented in that category. I'm sure there's a ton of white people or people of other cultures who've done that, because I've seen plenty of white guys who bought Lamborghinis with that money. But like, it's just kind of like the tools are around. It's just it almost seems like we're not looking in the right books. We're not going through the right knowledge trees to pick up these things that everyone else seems to know. Not to say, everyone talks about the government. The government has money to give to communities. We just have to make that. Like I was telling GSUGambit one day, I was like, make code the new scamming. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta like it's there, and it's like, like one of my things I'm trying to do, and I was talking to Gambit about it. I'm trying to look into the HUD housing market, because there are places where there are people of low income who need housing, and there are people who, the government is helping people do these things in underserved markets. Why not? Why not be an African American HUD housing? I'm using the government to buy property, to put people who without means into said properties. Boom. I'm helping the community, using government, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's these things that are all there that like people are kind of ignoring.
So let's go to Chris, Frankie, and then Top Dolphin.
Yeah, there's one thing I had to push back on something Smooth said when it came to like artists and athletes. There's one thing I don't want to do is like limit people's options as what they can do, especially in this day and age, because of the advancements of the internet these days. The floodgates are open, right? Yeah, the floodgates are open. Like you can make money in so many different ways. Like nowadays, like there's no limits on things, right? All you have to do is find your niche and diversify your options. If you want to be a rapper that makes $200,000 to $300,000 a year, right? You can do that. You don't have to be a Drake or a Kanye. You can live
That's the
comfortably.
1%.
Yeah, you don't have to live like, but that's what I'm saying. Like to always to say like you have to strive to be that big or Kanye or Drake. or it just doesn't matter, right? If yes, the 200, the 300 is probably the 1%, right? I'm saying like if you or can be a rapper and right because of the advance of the internet, you can like maintain a community and like a fan base that gets you paid, right? That you could make like you can be middle class, right? Being a rapper, do that if you want to strive to do that, right? There's so many options and so many different ways to make money. Like people are making careers off YouTube. There's so many like people like, well, especially white kids, like just making money off of YouTube, Twitch, etc. Like maximize that to their advantage, right? Doing whatever they're like doing. And I don't think we should limit those options for Black people. We should be making up our own communities in these spaces, things like that, making it easier for us to like become like to be able to make money in these spaces. I'm not saying those only options. I'm saying there's so many options that we shouldn't be limiting ourselves
So
to
this is why
I just
I
want
knew
to
I
say
was gonna
that
like
I wasn't just real quick. I want to say I wasn't saying they can't do it at all. I'm saying the heavy push by the community to get them there, stop that. Like if they got it, cool. But if they ain't got it, they ain't got it. Like tell them.
Well, here's a dirty
Well,
little secret. A
We
lot of
gotta,
rappers,
we gotta get some other people in. We got a long
Go
list of
ahead.
people. So let's go to Frankie, top dolphin.
Okay, I'm gonna go back kind of what Chris was saying, and I think I'm gonna go to what KTM was saying, and Smooth clarified. I'm not about saying if they don't got it, then they don't got it. Don't bottleneck them. Don't have only one field. I think that's what Smooth was trying to say because, like we say, we all said earlier, it seems like in the Black community we're known for entertainment and sports, right? And then Smooth hit it on the head earlier. I know Cal said it as well too. It's we need to we need to broaden the scope to say, hey, we can also do different things because what's happening is that we're making the big push that you only can do this, you only can do this, so you only can be a rapper, you only can rap. That's what we're known for, so that's what we have to push to. And because of that, there's other fundamental skills that we are missing and that we're lacking. And then that also goes with the education as well too, because the whole part we have to remember when you're going high school, when you go to college, you're student athletes. We have to make sure that we're picking careers that you're picking. You're in high school. You're doing all your courses. You're not taking easy courses to get easy A's to be eligible on the field. When you're in college, you're actually picking a degree plan that would actually get you to move somewhere. So even if you are the best at sports, you could still impart that knowledge later down the road to go back and help your community. And I think that's also missing, and that's what we have to push. The thing too, what Chris hit it on the head as well too, but we're kind of fighting that battle right now, is that because it's something that I read today, and I was actually shocked because it came on a bigger news outlet. We have these white kids, teenagers, and even young adults using these platforms to make money as well. And then they're saying, what about the black community as well too? Well, right now we are meeting resistance with that, and that's also another part of the system that's kind of, I don't want to say it, but all the evidence points to it, trying to keep Black people and other minorities down. Because TikTok, they're going through that right now too, where if a Black person reposts something or does a duet, it's taken down when the original is still up, and they're citing different things. Twitter had an issue with photos with Black people getting cropped and tagged so you couldn't see it, and that's other battles that we're fighting. But that also goes back to, this is where we need people to broaden that scope to go in different fields, so then they can fight that battle for us and get back to the community. And also, when people do that and they don't go down that direct community path, we need to support them, because if we don't support them and we ostracize them when they want to get back to the community, they're not going to get back. They're not going to get back to our community. They're going to get back to the new community, because the new community is going to be the one that's helping them out and supporting them.
The top dolphin.
That's all I'll say for that one. Go ahead, Dolphin.
Yeah. First, oh my God, there's been so much bad shit that's been said. First I want to kind of talk. I don't want to like completely push back against what Chris Kosman said, but talking about like making careers for yourself on the internet, like talking about being like I think he said like a 300K a year rapper or something like that, or like a Twitch streamer, YouTuber. I think we still still have to remember like the difficulty it is to like depending on what you're doing to make a career on the internet. I'm familiar with Twitch. I'll use Twitch as an example. Like the top 1% of Twitch is like 50 viewers. And you're not making full-time income on 50 viewers. Prime is well into the top 1% of like Twitch creators, and he's considered a small fish, right? Like we have to, like, when we want, like, I it's kind of hard to say, but like when we look at like other like groups in the United States and stuff like that, and like white people, for example, they're not generally pushing their kids to like go make a Twitch career or go on YouTube or go make SoundCloud rapping. And it's awesome to have that option there. And then, like, if that's like really something you want to do, I don't want to hold any back. Like, if you're like full steam ahead into things, like, you should go for it. But I think it's like having that mindset of like always having a backup plan is like really important, especially for people of color who don't necessarily have like the generational wealth to fall back on. Kind of following that, this whole conversation is like moving in a direction that like kind of pushes me in the wrong way, and that like it seems like we're kind of making like the Republican like pick the community up by your bootstraps arguments, right? Like, I mean,
go ahead,
in
bro.
a way, kind of, yes. I kind of want to say that like I can see that like when we're talking to individual Black people, you don't need to tell like your son when you're growing up, like, hey, like the government's fucked you over, and like you need to rally the government to fix all your problems for you. Like, there are pieces of advice we can give to the, like, individuals in the Black community, and that's really important. But I think it's also really important to remind us that like when we're looking at groups of people, the best way to like bring groups of people in and out of circumstances is through policy, and getting things like public policy passed is just as important as like trying to get individuals to like if not more important than like having like getting individuals to like act better or like pick themselves up by their bootstraps.
That goes with education, and which is, I think that's what kind of Chris and all of them said too. And it goes to the part where if we don't stop the cycle and pick ourselves up, who is? And sorry for whoever I cut off.
Let's go.
No, but like education is what, like, how do you get better education? It's a public policy thing. Like I get that like a lot of these things are cyclical, which is why like a lot of them are like, this is why like oppression exists, is because like a lot of the forces that drive Black people down are cyclical cycles, right?
No, I totally agree with that, but and that's why I was saying if we don't, that's where I'm saying, because we need to change the reason why we get education, because right now people they get education to get on the football field, to get on the basketball court, and we need to change that perception to get education to get education.
I know. I gotta push back against that. I gotta push back against this like Black people are diverse, and they do these things for all kinds of reasons, right? Like there's a perception that we only like learn for, I mean, maybe like racist ass white people think that, but like so many African Americans like learn and grow and push themselves for all kinds of reasons, not having anything to do with sports. Like I feel like we are like, I've seen so many stereotypes like are being thrown around right here. Like what? I think most people know that they're not gonna make it into the league, right? Most people know that the rap game, they've already lost it, like before they even began. I think most of us understand these things. I feel like these are like the narratives about Black people that are pushed through the media, and we've like clearly taken them in. But people have all kinds of reasons for acting, for taking the actions that they do, right? And to go back to something way at the beginning, Smooth said, like, you know, who at 40 years old is pushing to get into the service industry. Lots of people. We're moving into a service economy. That's what's happening right now. Like, we've lost manufacturing. There's the knowledge economy, and then, but much farther below that in terms of income level, it's a service economy. We're bifurcating right now. A lot of people are going into hotels or the service industry in terms of like food service. Like, a lot of people are doing that at like 40 and below, because those are where the jobs are right now for them. And they may not have the skills otherwise. And it's not because they didn't know that like there are other jobs that paid more. I don't think it was a lack of education. I mean, for some people, maybe, right? If you live in certain neighborhoods, that might be the case. But for so many others, this is just the opportunities that they have available to them, and so that's what they'll take.
Right.
So yeah, I just like pushed against a lot of these things. I'm close to top dolphin here, and that's
To
not
support
right.
what Prime said really
so-
quick, like black women in like the United States are like the one of the most educated groups. Like they're getting educated at higher rates than like any other group of people. So like yeah, I really empathize, and I really like what Prime said is that like black people aren't only going to school to like get sports degrees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want to push back on like.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
like-
Chris was referenced. We'll go to Chris, THC, or fuck, Gambit.
No,
Fuck you.
you had it
No,
right.
no, fuck you, Gambit.
No, you had
No,
it
fuck you, Gambit. We'll go to Chris, Gambit, Cal, because I think he has his hand up, and then KTN, right?
Yeah, when I push back on Smooth on that point, it wasn't to say that like this is the only thing we can do and that's what we should do. It's like when I say diversify your options, right? If you're gonna be a software engineer and like you love being online and you love communicating in communities, you can make money off of that too, right?
Yeah.
So along with being a software engineer, like you can be online, like also making like money off of that. If you love sports and you loved it all your life, but you're too short, right? There's still ways to make money off of that. People are doing it because of online. That's all I meant, right? Not that these are the only options that you have. No matter what you want to do, what you love, if there's something you get exposed to that you want to do, there's like the opportunities to do it are like it's out there now, right? Even with some pushback, as long as you get a community behind you, and that's what I want is more like Black people knowing about these things, so we can build these communities, right? Like here on Twitch. Twitch is relatively new, so of course, like like people with 50 viewers are going to be in the one position. Twitch is like compared to other companies, it's relatively new, right? It's still growing. It's still like it has like way like far off it can go. It can be much bigger, especially compared to YouTube. Like YouTube is like
YouTube was like 07, Twitch was like 09, right? Like
Right.
I
I mean, Twitch exploded.
I was on Twitch in college.
Yeah,
Twitch
it
isn't
didn't
new,
explode.
but it's
Twitch
incredibly
was-
small.
yeah, compared to like YouTube is way small, right?
Of
I'm like
course, because you comparing it to Google. What do you mean?
I mean, YouTube wasn't owned by Google at the point, but that's not what point, right? These things, like Black people are always behind on these industries or on these like these certain like these things, these niches, like and then they just end up blowing up, right? Like when we see these new things, right? To not like discourage people to get into it, like and like not everybody wants to own things, right? Not everybody wants to own a business, but those who do want to own the business, we make it easy for them to find out the information, ways to do that. Right, we build communities around that for people who want to do that. We encourage people to do what they want to do, and we'll naturally have those things happen. The problem is, like a lot of times in the Black community, we have a lot of discouragement with things. Right, there's not enough like encouragement. That's what we need. So, like whatever your kids want to do, right? You say, all right, that's what you want to do. That's what you love, and like you can't get that out of your head. Let's find a way for you to do that, make money, and be able to grow, and become successful doing that. And there's so many people doing that nowadays, right? There's so many amateur cooks on fucking YouTube who are not professionals at all, making fucking like hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, just like being on it, doing the things that they love. So if like that's the climate we live in now, this is the best place for us to be encouraging everyone to do what they love. If there's a block of Black people, like a group that wants to like be business owners and like start these things, let's encourage that. Let's build communities around that, and let's help people build communities around these different things. That's all I was saying.
But in this online space is actually extremely difficult. Like it's not like this is not
difficult
this isn't the rap game, but like it's a step below
It
that,
seems
right?
It's difficult
yeah.
because we don't have the support, right? Like not too many of us are in these spaces, right? We don't
No,
have
there
we
are
don't
too
have the
many of them.
economics to have
That's the
the
opposite. There are too many people in this space, right? Like getting attention here is brutal. This is really fucking hard. Let me tell you. Right?
But I think
get an
you're talking
audience.
about-
Hold on. To get an audience and to keep an audience, it's extremely hard. There's a reason. I mean, you see like the graph for Twitch, right? Like it's like damn near steady, right? And then it shoots up because only a tiny percentage of people make it to the point where they, especially like we were talking about income, like it's even smaller. But to become a partner, and then have any sort of audience that goes up before or after that, and then on YouTube too, like there's millions upon millions of channels, and most of them are forgettable. Even if people are trying, putting their best out there, most of them will never get a significant audience. Like this is not like I would not encourage people like, oh hey, Twitch is the place
Yeah,
to
I want-
talk
Again, my
No.
point
Yeah,
is
hold on,
being
wait,
lost.
wait,
Hold on,
Chris, you won 3 times now.
because my point is being lost,
saying
right?
the same
When I
thing,
keep
no.
saying diversify, right? This is another thing that you can add to your
No.
arsenal of what you're doing. Not the only thing, right? If you're trying to make it off of only the Twitch views you're getting, that makes no sense, right? I'm saying if you have a career or something you're doing, right? These things, these platforms can only help you build that whatever you're doing. Right? I'm not saying you're gonna come on here and like in a few months have the biggest audience in the fucking world. No, right? If if Twitch is the only thing you're doing, you're fucking up, right? Because this is something you could add to what you're doing.
But
right?
you're pushing it as
I
if,
think the thing
Wait,
that
wait,
we should be
wait,
pushed back
again,
against.
it's Gambit.
Wait.
Gambit's waiting.
Yeah.
yeah, wait, this is crazy because like this
Yeah.
is borderline irresponsible. Like you've been pushing
What?
this as if it is a replacement. Now you're trying to say, oh no, I'm talking about a second income, right? Like you're
Yeah,
the whole
first thing I said was diversify when I was pushing back on
listen,
Smooth. Literally, I
listen.
said diversify. If you're going to be a rapper, use these platforms to help you out. That's all I said.
And so I think the biggest pushback I have against your messaging, and like I want to be clear, I think I know what you're trying to say, and I kind of agree with you. But the way it's coming across is you're
There's no
acting
way to
like there's
agree with
like an abundance of opportunity, like for everybody to grab, like on the internet. And
Boy.
I think we have to be clear that like especially in content creation spaces, but on the internet in general, it's really hard to get a lot of this stuff done.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
trying
just to be clear, like
Okay.
you can dip
Oh
your
my
toe into it, right?
No, but
like
Can I grab
Yeah,
on something
and,
that he
like,
said?
and these are
So-
things that everyone
Well,
should be aware of,
This is
but not
crazy.
like your primary sort of thing.
So we got
Can I grab one?
no, guys. We got people who are in line. Gambit, go.
Yeah, so yeah, this is just borderline irresponsible. Like Chris was bringing up, like the white kid that has like all of this cool tech at home that's making it online because his parents has enough money to buy him the technology. If this guy doesn't succeed, he doesn't go to the hood and he's now trying to feed his kids selling drugs. He has probably some comfortable lifestyle, or he's gonna be able to more easily convert his failed YouTube career into something. We have to understand that as our kids are young, if you don't make good decisions in your early ages, the likelihood of you turning out to be a success is low. And that's why I agree with everything that Smooth said originally. We have to become real parents. We have to give people the real. No, like if you're shorter than this, I don't give a fuck what world we live in. You're probably not making it to the league. Go figure out something else to do with your life, because I don't want to see you struggle the rest of your life, right? And like this whole idea of there's all of this burgeoning, like we will get on here and wax about implicit biases and systemic oppression, and we understand that to become big in a content creation space, people see you and those implicit biases see you, so they choose other channels that aren't your black ass, right? Like we have to understand that these things are like, we talk about all this systemic
Everything I just said go in one ear out the other. Like
no, it doesn't, because what you
it-
originally
it-
said
it-
was completely irresponsible. You try to walk it back and say, "Oh, I'm talking about a second career." No, like yes, if you have already established yourself somewhere and then you're trying to do like Twitch and stuff, yeah, it's responsible then because you're not depending on this. But when you first talked, you were talking about how we need to diversify in these industries in relation to when Smooth was saying we need to start to choose better career paths. Like that's what you were saying, and you tried to walk it back to.
No,
now
I'm still
talking
saying. You still not understand what I'm
silly.
saying. I'm saying
No,
like
I am. I think it's destructive. It's silly. It's irresponsible.
no,
It should
like
never be listened to.
no. This is like so stupid. This is the problem that we have, right? It's because especially if you're pushing like black people into spaces that they're not even good at, right? And these like good careers that
Black
are
people
going to help
aren't
us
good
succeed.
or bad
Hold
at
on.
things. You can learn
No,
anything.
That's the same thing that
Exactly.
can be said about pushing them to be content creators.
Oh my God, y'all not listening.
Yes, we
at
are.
all. No,
So
'cause what
I
said
think I
was-
hear what you're saying. You're saying that
No.
No,
this
we're
shouldn't
talking
be your
about
main gig.
individuals.
You're saying that you're using these spaces to advertise yourself, right? Like using a YouTube or a Twitch to advertise. Like if you're a music in the music industry, right? Use any like Spotify, use Twitch, use YouTube, all those things to get your name out there. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, but more than that, it's just like if it's what you want to do, right? What you want to do with your life, right? Nowadays, if you like are growing up and like, yes, there was like for a while there was this push for people to do these things, these certain industries, like just like scrap all of that, right? No matter what you want to do, I'm saying you can use this tool of the internet, these new technologies, right? And like you like people you have phones, right? Nearly every damn person has a fucking phone. So I'm not saying that you need like the latest cameras, the latest like computers, things like that. These things are out there for you to like. If there's a niche, a career you want to go down, right? These tools you use to make yourself you can help yourself grow. Like me, like just like being an artist, like in general, right? These tools I'm using to help me make money. Right. So like even though like the streaming thing isn't working out, there's still other avenues, right? So you learn, you see how you can further use this to help you. If there's something you want to do in life, right? I'm not like I don't like this idea of pigeonholing like Black people into doing these certain things, right? Yes, we want for people to be successful. We have to find ways for that to happen because everybody else is doing it. Immigrants are doing it. People from other countries are doing it. They're finding other ways, right, to make these things work, to make these things happen. And just saying like outright, no, don't do this. This is destructive. Like you're gonna suffer through life. Like everyone's gonna fucking suffer, right?
Let's go.
If you get into a career that's great and you hate it, like what good is that?
Okay. All right. Let's go to Cal, then K10.
All right, look, man. How about this? Okay, may sound controversial. Let's stop pushing Black women and men to be content creators and get into the entertainment industry. Like, okay, here's the thing: it hardly works for most people. It hardly fucking works. How about we start doing something to what we really need is education, like Alan was saying, or Frankie, I'm sorry. Like, we need education, and what we need is probably to re-educate some of our people, okay? Because down here in the South, it is the case that most people trying to make it to the league, most people trying to go out and be a rapper. Other than that, they selling dope. I'm keeping it real with you. Down here where I'm at, they selling dope. If they don't make it to the league, they don't be a rapper, okay?
Exactly. Me too, bro.
It's actually a minority of Black people here that are trying to go through the path of being college educated and getting an actual career. So I think that can change if we have actual education. We need to show people what they can do on these platforms, why it's important, why using the internet is important, why being able to use a computer is important. Because other than that, people down here just think, oh, I ain't finna do all that bullshit the white man want me to. That's literally how people be thinking down here, man. I'm gonna keep that real with you, 100. So look, one of the things we need to teach Black people how to be investors. And I ain't talking about you got to sit here and manage your own investment, but like get educated on financial literacy, get educated on how voting works and all of that other shit, man. To the other dude that says something like Black people aren't really moving to those jobs, the jobs that are like in right now, something along those lines when they come up, bro, it's really because these people aren't educated, man. And honestly, you talking about the older Black folks. You ever seen the Learn the Code movement? Where they were trying to displace all these truck driver jobs with robotic trucks and all that automation. And then they were just saying, oh, well, you're going to lose your job, learn the code. Man, they can't fucking do that. They've only been doing a certain thing their entire lives, bro. Most people can't just get up and go learn a new career. All right. So, like, it starts with the children. Be real with you. Starts with the children.
Exactly.
We need to get them, if we want to get them better education, then how is education funded? Education, public education is funded by property taxes. That means that more Black people got to own more shit. You see what I'm saying? And then our property taxes get going into the public education. Or the only other alternative, send your kids to the white school. That's what happened to me, be honest with you. So like I've learned a couple of these things. I've learned things that my Black friends down here, man, they come from like kind of hood areas, you call them. They never know, man. And they got like this whole perspective that America is all racist and all that. And it's not necessarily that, man. It's a racism issue and a class issue. You know what I mean? But knowledge and finances kind of elevates you a little bit above the racism. It doesn't eliminate it, but it raises you above it where you can do more. So
yeah. And one small thing I want to add to that, it's on the same vein. Like we should, and it's something I said in chat, we should look for industries where the average person is doing okay. Like Prime said, the average Twitch viewer gets 25 views. That guy probably doesn't get subs. That guy probably isn't getting any income. the average YouTube, I think, and they say in the first month it's like 200, but I think over time it equalizes out to like 8,000. All of YouTube, the 25 billion something videos. Well, I think that's like per day or some stupid shit now. But like out of that, like the average person is getting like 8,200 views. That person isn't getting super chats. They aren't getting all this other stuff. So in these career fields, we keep trying to push black people, and I'm not directing this specifically at you, Chris, but we keep pushing black people to try and engage in careers where 0.0000001% of people are doing well.
That's
the
harmful to
silliest.
me.
Like the average software engineer will die very well off. That guy will die,
Yeah.
and he will be very like. We should push our kids, and I love what Cal's saying because I'm always talking just about the kids. We should push our kids to do something where the average person works out okay. If your career field is, if it doesn't work out, you're probably going to be homeless. Maybe
No.
if you're not that nigga, you shouldn't be in that career.
Okay, let's go to Kate's hand and then Frankie.
I mean, the thing I always talk about, it's the idea that I don't look at a job as the end all be all. Whatever gig I have is not the end of my life. Yeah, you get to a certain age where like, yeah, you can't pivot anymore. But you know, we were talking earlier about people who lived in Appalachia who were doing coal, and you know, all of a sudden they can't switch from job to job. Okay, yeah, that sucks. But you know, we're no longer in that economy. You know, the downside is yes, we work 2-3 jobs at a time. That's trash. It sucks. But the upside is, you know, people are being forced to pivot. You know, the idea of you putting in those 20 years, it's not gonna be like the forever thing. So, but back to what I was saying. You know, in the black community, we need to kind of get into the idea of promoting square ass jobs. I'm sorry to say, like this might be like this might be like a hot take, but it's like, yo, your square job doesn't have to be the only thing you do. You could have a square job. You could also do what Chris is saying. Yes, you can start, you know, putting out content at your, you know, on your free time at your square job. But it's more important to have the basis of the square job. If I'm making 50 racks a year with my square ass job, and then I decide to stream on the side, and my streaming, you know, look at Prime. Prime is a prime example of a person who is like, yo, I have a gig, and then I'm putting that work on my free time, and I'm trying to make that extra bread. Now, if Prime blows up, yo, boom, he could let go of his square ass job. That's beautiful. But at least he had the basis. He had the base square ass job to fund what he really
They
wanted
need to be hobbies until you can make some success.
and that's kind of the thing. So it's like a lot of, and it's and I get it. People want to just say no. If I didn't do my square ass, if I don't do my square ass job, I could go all at it. Like the little Uzi Vert thing was, oh yeah, you know, I went to a job interview, they didn't accept me, so I got a tattoo on my face, so I could never again get a job, and now I'm a musician. Little Uzi Vert is an anomaly. You know, I'm gonna just say that. You know what I mean? And that's his origin story. His origin story was he went for a job, nobody hired his ass, he got mad, got a tattoo on his face, and then pushed the music game. Very, very rare. But you know, it's like, remember back in the day when the African American dream, and even immigrants. Now we're going back to the immigrant issue, where African Americans, immigrant people of color, were like, "Yo, I want to get me this job with this pension for job security." And yes, like Chris was saying, it's what's the point of having a job that pays well, but you fucking hate it? But that is kind of a natural. It's like it's not an inevitability, but there's not going to be an entire population of people who perfectly match with jobs that they like.
Yeah.
The majority of the world is not going to like their job. I'm sorry to tell you.
But might as well get paid.
It is the most, like if someone wants to create the algorithm that will match the perfect job with the perfect candidate and whatever, I'm sure they will smash Jeff Bezos' $1 billion, and they'll be on the fucking moon within a month. Because until we create the perfect happiness algorithm, you know what I mean? Shout out to the Matrix coming up soon. We're not gonna fucking win. You know what I mean? Like, so the idea is, like, you have to deal with that. And I'm sorry to say, like, you know, I'm not really trying to speak utopianism, but you have to deal with the idea that your happiness is not going to match your income until you know, but your income will match your survival. And
It's
that is
about
once
pros and
again,
cons, man.
yeah, once again, it's an issue of capitalism. Yes, capitalism is bad because capitalism has put us in that binary where you have to only deal with your happiness, or you have to only deal with your security. And it's rare when you catch both. And when somebody
Mm-hmm.
catches both, and we see the dude down the block who's caught happiness and who's caught survival and happiness at the same time, we want to go do what he does. And then when you find out what he really has to do, you're like, oh shit, I ain't cut out for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it's like we have to. But the thing is, like, when I talk about pivoting, you have to have the ability to look at a job you're doing and saying, how long can I do this job to get to the next stepping stone? You have to kind of have a plan. And sometimes that plan will come to fruition. A famous musician said, life is what happens when you're making plans. And like, yeah, you make a plan, it doesn't go the right way, but you have to be able to have something to rest on as kind of like, and once again, people are not going to agree with me, like, oh well, that's kind of like the mentality of, like, I don't know, whatever, like a person who's like a slave to the system, et cetera, et cetera. Not that I like using the word slavery like that, because whatever. But like I said, we are stuck in this binary. But you can also use the one thing, which is security, to focus on getting somewhat of your happiness. You're not going to be happy all the time. You're not going to be.
Hell no.
You have to secure your security.
Like
I mean,
they
look
say,
at Prime.
you can't
Prime's
have
not
your
a happy
cake and
man.
eat it too.
Prime's not a happy man. Prime is falling asleep during panels sometimes.
I'm not fucking
know what I
falling
mean?
asleep. Could you not say that?
Okay,
I don't do
sorry.
that. Actually, I don't do
Okay,
that.
sorry. You look very tired. You look extremely tired to the
I'm
point where I'm
literally like researching things on my phone, like
not
right
today.
now.
Okay.
Alright.
We got you,
You know
Prime.
what?
I'm
Prime's a
literally
hard
researching
worker,
things
okay?
on my phone the entire time.
We're not talking about today. Okay,
Yeah.
strike that from the thing.
On the
I
record.
was wrong. I'm here admitting I was wrong about my assumption about Prime. Now, but I'm just saying, I'm sure Prime is not a happy man having to work 24 hours a day, essentially. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
sure, he's doing it for fact, so he's doing his thing. But that's kind of how you have to live. And I'm sorry to say.
Okay, go ahead, Frankie.
Well, I think KT hit some stuff. I'm gonna kind of go back to, there's a point that Chris said, and he was talking about we need to jump on some things earlier, and especially because of the YouTube, because I know YouTube came out in 2005, Twitch came out in 2011, and it goes back to it's the center of everything. It's, hey, yeah, what KTN said, you got to do your job. You got to, you have to have your stable thing. But it also goes back to kind of what Cal said too, with the education as well too, and educate yourself. So then when new stuff comes out, you know how to use it, you know how to be a part of it. Because some of the people who have big followings on YouTube, it wasn't because they were the greatest. It was because they were first. And they were able to get these followings, and I think that's kind of the point he was trying to allude to. So, Chris, tell me if I'm wrong on that one, because that's what I pulled out from what you were saying. It's because you're saying as the Black community sometimes relate to go on some of these on some of these, I guess, new ventures, new ideas, new trends.
Yeah.
And I think that goes in kind of to what. And that's to what you were saying too, is diversifying. And I don't think when he says diversify, he's not saying put all your eggs in this basket of right now content creation and make that your primary thing to blow up. But it's like, it's kind of like, don't be afraid to do that. There's more than point A, point B, point C. And that's what I was talking about earlier, to go back to it. So I think Chris and I are on the same page on that one, is don't bottleneck to one thing, but open it up so you can go to multiple paths. And I think that's the main thing Chris was trying to say. He wasn't trying to say be irresponsible and put all your eggs in the basket into a career, let's go from sports to content creation, where, like we said, the average views is 3 and it costs more money to put on the stream than what you're going to get too. And so
I assume we're all working here.
Real quick about content creators, though. A lot of content creators who make it to the top already came from something else. Like,
yeah,
I've seen that a lot. Like, a lot of
no, I
content
totally agree with
creators
that.
are, like, popping were
Yeah,
popping somewhere else and decided, I'm going to do a podcast. I'm
No,
gonna stream, and then all
no,
of a sudden,
I totally agree with that, and I think, but that also comes with the education of doing something as well too, and that's what Cal was saying, and that's kind of what you were saying. When you get those education and that building blocks and the education reform and moving things that put us ahead, so then we have the skill sets that could transfer over to
The
into
problem
something
is,
later.
Smooth was talking specifically to a different situation where people aren't economically comfortable, right? Like the responses that Chris gave weren't to like a situation where somebody has a job and they're happy, and then he was like telling them what to do. It was more to like probably our youth or people that are living and they aren't economically comfortable.
Yeah,
That's why all of
Yeah.
us took
No,
what Chris is
I
considering
get
a
that,
straw man.
but we assumed that's what the situation Chris was talking about, and that's the thing where I'm saying with my little
No,
one
but
He's
too.
like
he
specifically
if he
responding.
if he's
I'll
responding directly
I'll
to
push
me,
back on
if
one
he's
thing.
pushing back on me on what I was saying, then and I'm talking about just that, that's a
Yeah.
pushback on just
Yes.
that.
Yeah, because he said
No,
he wasn't agreeing with the statement because you were saying, hey, guess what? You're
And he
not
was
going to be
giving a
this. You're not going to
comment.
do this. Don't do this. Only do this. People in the comments were saying, hey, you're
I
supposed to
was
give
literally talking about the young generation.
No,
Yeah.
Talking about the young generation.
no, and so was he, and he's saying diversify, and that's why I agreed with you on that one. And I
But
stepped
this is
back and
irresponsible.
no, because I
how is
stepped
that
back. No, because
irresponsible?
no,
Like,
hold on,
Oh,
Chris. Chris piggybacked off of me because I
No,
said,
Chris
hey,
piggybacked off Smooth.
no, yeah,
and
no,
and,
no,
him,
no,
and
hold
they
on.
both said something like
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm telling you what happened. Chris piggybacked off of me because Smooth said something, Chris said something. I went and said, "Hey, I agree with what both of you guys said and what Smooth said." And I'm not saying don't do this. I'm saying don't bottleneck yourself. Go into multiple things too. And then Chris piggybacked off of that, off of what I said too. He wasn't saying, "Oh, the kid who has nothing else to do and he's living in the ghetto." Go ahead and go into this other career field of content creation because that's all you could do. Chris never said that. Chris was saying,
But if you know what,
no,
I'm gonna drop that. All I want to speak to Prime's happiness as a fellow content creator. I think he finds great joy in doing this because when I'm doing like my things, I find great joy in those, and thus I'm very happy, and I believe he is very happy to be able to do this and record it. I'm just speaking to his happiness. And Prime, you can agree or disagree with me, but I think
I think it depends on the night. That's what I'll say.
I do want to say something. Like, I assume, like, when I say these things, I assume like everyone, if you're an adult, you're working. You have to work to survive, to eat, right? But if there's something you're striving for, if there's a goal you want to reach, right? I'm saying like there's more opportunity for you to try those things, diversify, try those things on the side, right? Like you don't like like what I'm doing now. I work. I assume we all work, and we're here doing this, right? This is what diversifying is. We're taking advantage of the platform. We're like trying to put our voices out there. I'm not saying like you get out of college and like you want to, I mean, you get out of like high school, encourage your kids to just be a YouTube star. Wait, what the fuck does that even mean? Like
I tell mine no all the time.
Like what you have to do is find something you love, like what you like doing, right? You still have to make money, you still have to eat, you still have to work. What I'm saying is, if you want, I was just saying like I don't like the idea of discouraging people from doing certain things. I like to find ways for them to do what they love, right? And have it work with the life that they're living, right? If you're making like 50K and it's like a median life, but you're able to do the things that you love, and you may not be making all that much money off of it, but that just still makes you have a happier life. That still makes you that still gives you like
we get what you're
Gambit.
saying. There was a misunderstanding, and we can move past it. When he was talking about discouraging people, he was talking specifically about kids that come from backgrounds probably like me and him has, and them doing those activities. So when you spoke, we assumed you were giving advice to the people that he was talking about. If you was disagreeing with him, but changing the argument to be second jobs, we didn't understand that. I don't think we should bicker over that anymore. It doesn't matter. All of us now understand what you meant.
But I do want to say one
forward.
thing. I do want to say one thing, right? When we
now
are
you finna step and say it. Okay, go ahead.
when we are like talking and we're bringing up ideas and things like that, when I say I want to push back on something, that doesn't mean I completely 100% disagree with everything you're saying, right? I'm pushing
I'm just
back
telling
on
you we misunderstood. It could be
Yeah.
our fault.
I understand that,
We're
but just
we're
like
good.
in the
We get your pushback. We got
Yes.
it.
We good.
all right, like go ahead.
We good.
Right.
We good. We
It's
good,
okay.
bro.
We good. We good.
This ain't the open panel, bro. We ain't got to start yelling. We good. We not lying to you. We good, bro.
K10, if you want. Then
so-
Top Dolphin.
So could we agree that it's not immigrant communities that are battling for jobs? It's just capitalism that's making us all fight for the scraps.
Yes.
Yep.
Give it
I
thumbs up.
think we all agreed.
All the people with the resources looking down at the top. Look at them fight over
agree,
resources.
man.
And laughing at
Fight,
us.
monkeys fight. They're throwing out those scraps. Bezos out in the tower with the dollar bill.
Look, we'll throw a piece of meat out. Look how they go.
He's in
I
a
don't
fucking
like
super yacht, literally a super
idea
yacht.
that we
Look
just
it
say
up.
like, oh, it's just capitalism.
Yeah, I don't like that.
it's so
man.
silly. Like it's like, oh my
Okay.
god, like we all gotta fight for food. Well, it's just hunger. Like it's so dumb to like speak about things in this way.
I mean, it partly is about capitalism.
Let him finish. Top
I
Dolphin.
think he was just
Let
generalizing. Simple.
Top Dolphin finish. Go ahead.
Like you can like I understand like you can criticize like if you want to criticize system or whatever, like that's fine. But like this is what we have to work with, right? And saying that like immigrants coming in the United States, like there's a lot of different immigrant populations and not all of them hurt black people. But to say that like, oh well, these people have to compete for jobs because competing for jobs is kind of capitalism doesn't necessarily like help solve any problems, right? Because at the end of the day, we still live in a capitalist society and two people who are poor still fighting over the same job. So like what's your solution when you say, oh, it's just like capitalism? Like it doesn't help anything.
I feel like there's a jump.
I was kind of
jump in
memeing,
logic.
so like I already know
there's a leap in logic.
I know
here.
it was kind of memey, but the thing is like you guys like all jumped on it super fast and like this has been like every time we bring up the immigrant thing, like we dismiss it with like, oh, it's just capitalism. Immigrants aren't bad.
I mean, I was bringing it up because we kind of like ran off of the immigrant thing and just like kind of focus on the fact that like the African American community or black people in general have a problem with exposing themselves to more in different fields, whether it be systemic or whether it be voluntary. So that's just kind of like, we could go back to talking about, the battle between immigrants and African Americans. But I think we've gone so far from it that, that was the entire point of me bringing it up.
When you say
it seems like there was a big leap in logic in what I was saying here. Okay, sure, capitalism has a lot of issues and all that stuff, but I don't know with what you're saying. Like, yeah, there's a lot of issues with that, and that's the big issue here. But my thing isn't just like, oh, just replace capitalism with socialism, then problem fucking solved.
Oh,
never
we
fucking
don't do
said
that.
that shit.
No,
that seems to be like the overall thing here. Like Top Dolphin, you're just like, well, don't you have any sort of solutions or something? Well, no, not entirely. There's a lot of things we can do to mitigate this issue, but as long as we have this sort of structural problem, we're going to tend to have that kind of issue, right? Of people competing for jobs, especially people that are disadvantaged.
Yeah. So my thing is, right, and there's a lot of things you can do because I know we talk about policy all the time. We're like, hey, we got to push policy, and I like that. Like, I love talking with you on the panel. But like one of the things is like we say like, okay, there are groups like I mean, and unless we like deny this, there are groups of immigrants who come to the United States. Maybe not right now because like we're at like our unemployment rate's a little bit high and there's like a lot of jobs, but there's a lot of jobs out there, like a massive amount of jobs out there.
Bit of a thing going on right now.
Yeah, but in the past, and like even in the past like 5 or 10 years, there are immigrant populations who, when they come to the United States, they displace or they take jobs from, or they disproportionately hurt black people, and like a lot of times, like the question is like we could say it's not wrong. We could say the solution isn't to like not accept immigrants in, but like this is a problem that does exist.
Often, I think that this is a poor framing of it, right? I don't think this is like, oh, immigrants are coming and they're taking jobs. They're displacing black people, right? Like what displaces black people is policy that marginalizes us, okay? Which allows a lot of these things to happen. Like the entire argument to me of just like these immigrants, these certain communities are coming here and displacing the jobs. These are people that are just coming trying to look for an opportunity. They're not the ones that we should be like talking about. I don't even think that we should even be talking about these immigrant populations in this way. We should just be talking about policy that helps African Americans, like, get like positive reinforcement rather than talking about like, yeah, I know you're not that kind of person, but it always sounds like who is to blame,
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
and
No,
that's something that I don't like.
I
100%
agree.
I know you don't mean.
So
yeah, I
Sam,
100% agree with you because that's like where I was going. Is like, yeah, like the solution, quote unquote, to this quote unquote problem, right, isn't necessarily that like the immigration is the problem. It's that like that we have Americans, Black Americans in this country who are in shitty circumstances, and sure, having immigrant labor to come in and help bolster our job force, which is like economically like a very good thing. The solution to like not having Black people hurt by this is to work on those systemic problems and implement policy that helps with those systemic problems.
so
Yeah,
we
100%.
can say we want to legalize marijuana to or decriminalize to reduce the interaction between Black people and the police in ways. We can say that we want to pass the George Floyd Police Act and get rid of some ways that racial profiling happens, right? We want to pass UBI. We want to pass public option, Medicare for all. I agree with you that those systemic things absolutely are why we cannot compete, you can say somewhat, with the immigrant population, right? Because they don't have some of those problems in the same way. And they also don't have some of the implicit biases that's levied against Black people, right? We can say all of that is true, right? But like I don't like it just dumbing this down to let's only focus on policy. We've been waiting on reparations since 1865, right? Oh, is it like oh, is it gonna be here next week, right? Like it's not, right? So in spite of, and this is like very unfair, and there was a particular individual that got mad at me about this, but despite it being unfair, we have to look at trends in society and change ourselves to adopt those trends, irregardless of the systemic oppression that we face. And that's very
Amen.
unfair. I admit it at face value. It's completely unfair, but there is no like
You're right.
we can advocate for policy all day. All of us do, right? We come on
Mhm.
this very
Mhm.
channel and talk about policy, and hopefully y'all are doing it offline as well. We do those things, but what else can we do? It can't just stop at, well, damn, it'd be real cool if we had UBI, right? I gave tons of money to Andrew Yang, and I love Andrew Yang, but like it's not real that that's the only thing that we should focus on. There are things in Black culture, such as kids going to school for degrees that won't benefit them later in life, or people that don't want to work forever going to school for degrees that cost tons and tons of money, right? Like all of these problems we can look at and talk about in the Black community, and we can also say that we advocate for political policy. It's not a dichotomy. We can do both.
Let's go to Sig.
Okay, now all right, so just to respond a bit to that, like I was mainly talking about this in conjunction with like immigrants and immigration and all that, right? Which is like, okay, so when talking about the topic of immigration, the Black community, like us changing our culture and changing our way and everything like that, that's not gonna change what's going on with like immigration policy, right? Like that's not really gonna affect that. Like with that, that's
It
purely
can.
just like voting for. Well, I mean, I don't know how that
If
would
we
vote. I
start
mean,
to
maybe it would
look
change
at
our
if we start
interactions
to
with
look
them, I
at
guess, but
no, if we look at why immigrant communities are succeeding, we look at what industries are they taking advantage of, what education do they have to take advantage of those industries, and we can model that. So there are
no, I'm
things
talking.
that we can take.
I'm talking about in terms of like competition. So you mean just like
Yeah,
emulating immigrant groups in terms of like competition and
exactly.
everything?
Yeah, like their
Exactly.
The
support
problem is like
structure
we're doing the
is
thing where we
completely
compare
different.
like Black people to immigrant groups again,
Yeah,
and we're
again,
just
we're
not the
doing
same,
No,
right?
we're not.
like I
And
don't
then
think
your
No,
solution to
listen.
things is like to tell Black people to get learned, like tell them to
Mm,
go to school.
No,
Like this
listen.
doesn't work.
Fam, it's
If it
exactly
worked,
that.
like Black people would be out of poverty, dog. You're just like, oh, Black people like
Wait. You can't.
No,
Wait.
it's
Wait,
to
wait,
go.
wait, wait.
I want
I
to
Okay,
gotta.
hold on,
You
let
gotta
him
tell
finish.
them
Let him finish.
to get smart. Like it doesn't work, right?
you're
Okay,
generalizing.
so
That's why it doesn't
wait, I
work.
want to answer. Wait. In this very conversation, Top Dolphin is the person that brought up that Black women are the most educated. So what I'm saying is, if we're the most educated group, let's switch what the fuck we're getting educated in to some shit that makes more money. That's all
I
I'm saying. So the
agree.
very shit that you said, yes, our Black women are the most educated group. So let's change the degrees that they're achieving, keep them the most educated group. That will lead to a better economic situation. Our Black men that are going to school, hey, you change what the fuck you're doing too. So in this very conversation, you brought up that Black women are the most educated. All I'm saying is we should choose better degrees to get educated in. And we could do that looking at economic data about what are immigrants doing or what are white people doing, and we can model ourselves kind of like those communities.
I mean, I agree with you, but that's a pivot. That's a hard pivot from you because like
Exactly
5 seconds ago, you were
That's
talking about how
exactly
we
what I
have to.
said.
No, like 5 minutes ago, you're literally talking about how we have to like go to school and tell our kids to like learn
To do
better,
what? To do what I just said.
to like go get learn, like go get
Not
taught,
even
like,
learn,
go
get
go
learn,
get
no,
To be
learn
fair,
better.
and not
So wait,
have
wait,
a
wait,
rap
wait,
to be
wait,
fair,
career,
I want to
right?
I want to steal man. I want to steal man Gambit for a second. Just to be fair, he said that it's not a dichotomy. You can do both.
Mhm.
He
Alright.
did say
Yes.
that multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree.
Okay. To piggyback off what he's saying, I really yes. Do we like the community? That's what I want to say. Those communities when he was saying look at those immigrant communities, he was talking about you look at somebody that's doing something right and they're succeeding in it. You literally take their best practices and make it better. That's literally what other communities have been doing to us for forever. Everything we do good, they're like, oh, they just made that. Great. Let me go make this over here, make a little tweak
American
to it,
companies do.
and I'm gonna put it out, and I'm gonna put it out as a product, and
Apple.
I'm gonna trademark it so you can't have it.
That's what Apple does.
Yeah, but we're talking,
That's
but like
what Apple
his
does.
whole point is that we like
No.
need to take over an industry, right? And so what are we gonna do? Are we gonna grow? Are we gonna be like Indians and grow up in a country where we have a foreign foreign companies investing in like our populace to like educate us in this one field? Like that's not something we can emulate, right?
No, but
Like
he's
we
saying
can't
he's
just
saying
we can't emulate
I
like
mean,
immigrant
hold on.
populations because they come from a completely different
No,
background than we
but
do
no,
as
he is
Black
saying-
I'm gonna give him a
Americans.
good example. I'm gonna give him a good example. Bro, so
Go
look
ahead.
at this. Okay, right? You'll have a an Hispanic or Asian household, right? When their kids get of age, do they just kick them out? Most of the time, that answer is no. They still support them. The Black household, when you turn 18, you're expected to go. Get out. Bye. That is the number one thing that happens. Is
Okay,
it all
this
people
isn't
know?
just a Black thing. This is like a American thing,
no,
right?
listen. Just listen.
All right.
Most people's family does not support them like that. That's hard stop. Most people don't. Like the majority of Black people are not supported like wholeheartedly financially by their family, and that's because their family literally can't. Their family literally can't. They're literally telling you, go get a job. Like, please go get a job. This is hard on me because I made mistakes. Please don't make the same mistakes as I do as they push you out the door, no roof over your head. Like, what are you? You're literally pushing them out. Like, this would be the equivalent of pushing a kid out the village, telling them to go walk into the woods and fend for yourself. It's literally the dynamic equivalent. Like, yeah, you can come back by and we'll fool with you, you know what I'm saying, on holidays, you know what I'm saying, and different things like that. But they're expecting you to go out there and get it without much education in like how to get it. And which is why what Kyle was saying earlier about financial literacy and all that, kids need to be taught these things before they hit 18. If you're gonna push them out the door, they should be set up.
Problem is our parents don't even know it.
I could add
Yeah,
to
our
that.
parents don't even know it. Yes, that's true too.
I could add to that. I mean, we call it the multi-generational household. And a lot of cultures, especially immigrant cultures, deal with the multi-generational household. It comes in with the, and you have those like kind of anecdotal things like the memes, like, you see a bunch of young men, they move into a house together and they all, they move into the smallest house, they fit together and they go and they just take shitty menial jobs. Okay, sure. And then they bring their family and they crunch into that. And it's actually, I've read articles and I've seen videos or like news stories about how a lot of NIMBYs are like, oh, we don't want these people of this culture or that culture in our neighborhood because so many of them move into one house. And that's kind of one of the reasons why you have neighborhoods that are like single family neighborhoods where they don't want multiple people staying in these homes all at the same time. But for people who are immigrants or people who are trying to build up their wealth, they're trying to pay the least amount of money, get the most amount of people, and get the most amount of resources in one centralized place. And then they might branch out and buy a bigger house, or then they might like go out. But what Smooth was saying is right, and the African American community has kind of taken on a habit of the white community that already has resources. You hit 18, get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a thing also that people have talked about. It's that idea that African Americans who go to college, graduate, and get degrees still aren't as rich as white Americans who graduate college, get degrees, because they have to send money back. They have to spend money back with family members who might not be
Yes.
doing as well as them. So that's like another big issue. And that's like a very a very prominent issue with like college graduates who feel like they can't get ahead because they're helping family members who they might have left behind. I mean, you might argue that maybe if they stayed in the home, built that multi-generational wealth, but then you also have other issues too that are like family issues where, like, maybe they don't get along with their family. Maybe it's unsustainable for them to live with their family. Maybe they're trying to get away from a certain situation or a certain lifestyle that they're not interested in anymore. So those are other issues, and if you could do a study on like isolating all of those particular issues, yeah, then maybe you could reinstitute the multi-generational household that will bring all of the resources to centralized groups, areas, and then you start getting into like that hotep shit where like, oh well, we need the nuclear family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So like, I don't want to like tread on all of that, like, Dr. Omar slash nuclear family type stuff, because that's a very tense argument right now in the African American community, where it's like, oh well, the single mother, the single family, this mother has X amount of kids, this mother has whatever. So but the multi-generational household is one way that immigrants grow their wealth, and also multi-generational businesses where family will not even go to banks. They will take loans from family members and they will all scrap and support a business. And it's just
So I just want to say everything that just
we've run out of time for this topic.
Can I just say one thing?
I
want to hear top. I want to hear top.
No, we've run out of time. I gotta move on. I've already gone over. Thanks all for that. We're gonna go to our next topic. Before that, then, if you've just come to this channel and enjoying what you're seeing, hit that follow button, make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. I do 6 nights a week. Don't want you to miss out on all the content that we provide, so hit that follow button right now. !social and chat. Follow us on Twitter. We will get channel updates, jump into our Discord where we have all our conversations. Everything happens on Discord, so be a part of the community there. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube, like and comment the videos you find there. That's where the VODs live for this channel. You won't find them here, you'll find them there on our YouTube. So help us out. Okay, moving on to the next topic. Nicki Minaj is being roundly criticized for her tweets where she communicated a level of vaccine hesitancy. She is now being called anti-vax. But is that fair? Shouldn't we have room for people to be cautious about what they put into their bodies? Or is it simply irresponsible for a celebrity to be promoting that message in this environment? All right, Nicki Minaj, she went through this whole thing. She put out several tweets on COVID in a short amount of time. And the standout one was when she said, a friend of her cousin had COVID and then or had the COVID vaccine, and that means that their testicles got swollen and then their wife, their fiance, called off their marriage. It was really dumb. But one second, politically provoked. Thank you for being so kind as to raid us with 28 individuals. Thank you, politically provoked. Awfully kind of you. Everyone, go check them out. At their channel, much appreciated, politically provoked. You've managed to raid. I know that was very difficult for you, so I'm very proud of you managing that much. But yeah, my name is Prime. We do these panels. We are having a panel right now on about COVID. We're about to talk about. Yeah, we have these panels all the time. If that interests you, and we have open panels too where audience members like you can join. If any of that interests you, hit that follow button right now. Make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. Thank you once again, politically provoked, for being so kind. Share your audience with us. Much appreciated. Okay, yeah. So back to this. Nicki Minaj. She yeah, she had lots of things, right? So it seemed like she was spreading vaccine conspiracy theories. She seemed like she was also just cautious about the vaccine, said she was going to do her research, right? But one way or other, the world came down pretty hard on her for these messages, and I'm wondering if any of that's fair. All right, so we'll do introductions, starting with Top Dolphin. That's so amazing.
Yeah, my biggest thing. Yeah, I fucking muted my mic. I was dumb. My biggest thing, I don't know. It seems like, I mean, I'm all for shitting on people who say dumb shit about vaccines and stuff like that. But it seems really like out of place that like this musician, this celebrity says something about a vaccine, and everyone's like coming down on them like they're the worst person. Like, I don't think she's pretending to be like someone who knows everything about vaccines. So maybe like the pushback's a little bit harsh. Although I think a lot of the things she said were kind of pretty bad, and like I do think there probably should have been some pushback. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be looking to celebrities for our advice on whether or not we get the vaccine. We should be looking to like doctors and the people who do the research on this stuff, like actual scientific research, not the people who go read articles on like Facebook the next day.
Okay, let's go to Signatural.
I agree mostly with what Top Dolphin said. But I just got to say that, like, I think that pretty much all celebrities, like all of them, past a certain sort of point, like they have a certain sort of like a social responsibility to just not spread misinformation. Okay, they need to have the responsibility to know that they're not in a certain place. They don't know shit. I think it was the Bill Burr interview with Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan was talking to Bill Burr. I think it was when Joe Rogan brought up some shit about like the vaccines or masks or some shit, and Bill Burr was just like, "Bro, I'm a fucking comedian. I don't know shit about this. We don't know." He said, we don't know shit about this. Okay, just listen to what people fucking say. Okay, they're the experts. We don't know nothing. Let's just shut up, and everything. Because like, regardless of whether or not you're trained in something, they have reach. I think it was Elon Musk that was saying that COVID was going to be done by like May or some dumb shit like that, and a ton of people believed him. Okay, even though he has no medical history whatsoever, they just assume, oh, he's an engineer, so he's smart, he'll know, and all this. Like, if you're famous, people are just going to think you're exceptional in every single way, multiple ways. All right, unless you're famous for being exceptional in some dumb shit. So what Nicki Minaj did was really fucking stupid. It's clear that guy got a fucking STD, and that's why they called off the wedding. I got a fucking bridge to sell her. Okay, she's a stupid hoe. Continue.
God damn,
Why
bro.
are you slandering black women, son? Why are you slandering black women?
It's kind of a joke because she's famous for saying that. But
Smooth.
Oh. Okay. So anyway, my point is, celebrities. We're at year 2 in the pandemic. What research? What do you mean? Like, how have you not done research? Matter of fact, you're rich. You have somebody you can pay to do research for you. How have you not done this already? You should know by now. You honestly should. Like, we're past the point of people having excuses. The medical journals are available. Like, everything is out there for the public to see. Go read it or pay somebody else to read it, because most of the time they don't even read their own contracts. You pay somebody else to do it. So get your lawyer to go read the medical papers and tell you if you should go get a shot or whatever it is, Nikki, whatever it is that you do, because this makes absolutely no sense. And it's very irresponsible at this stage in the pandemic.
Frankie.
All right. Well, she's entitled to whatever opinion she has, and I think I don't think they're being exceptionally harsh because she's Nicki Minaj. I think they're just harsh in general, because if you look at you go look at any random thread, Twitter, Reddit comments, and people go off on other people who don't agree with them. It's just broadcasted because it's Nicki Minaj. But like what Signatural said though too, I think she should know better, as in she's in a position of you could say influence, but she's in that public air too. So she should know that anything that she says is going to be dissected, because she's been a celebrity for quite some time, and she knows people are going to parse through whatever she says to find anything wrong with it and make it seem worse than what it is. So I kind of I have no sympathy for her. I like it'd be different if she was younger and this is like the first bad thing she said and everybody came down on her, but she's been in the game for a while. So she should know that everything she says is going to get dissected and she's going to be made a fool of if people are able to make a fool of her or tell her that she's wrong and uneducated and all that other stuff.
Chris. Also, genius words.
You're muted.
So inspirational.
My bad. Completely forgot. But yeah, she's an anti-vaxxer. She tried to mince her words. She tried to put it out lightly. What happened was she couldn't get into the Met Gala because she didn't want to get vaccinated. Come on now, how many months has it been? You could figure that, like, you could find out the information you need to get vaxxed. Like, you need to figure out if being vaxxed is a healthy thing for you to do. She has doctors. Nobody's stupid here. She's getting flamed right now, and like all these celebrities get flamed when they come out with this stuff. It's just Nicki Minaj is on another level of celebrity. Right? She's very popular, so she's going to get a lot of pushback. She's going to get a lot of people talking. That story she gave was bullshit. It's clearly bullshit. It's completely something an anti-vaxxer would say. These like anecdotal stories that make no sense. Like I understand, like it's a black woman and she's being tore down in this large platform. I understand that, and it looks weird. At the same time, right? We've seen this too many times to not just call it out. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. She's an anti-vaxxer. Like she shows all the signs, all the symptoms of one. And yeah, do your own research. Really, like Smooth said, you can pay somebody to do your research. Nobody's falling for this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Cow. Okay.
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna put it this way. Like I think it was Signatural or Top Dolphin. I think it was Top Dolphin said you shouldn't be taking medical advice from these celebrities. I'm gonna put it in this perspective. Nicki Minaj is a normal person, okay? And I'm not gonna go ahead and label her vaxxer vaccine. It doesn't necessarily mean she's an anti-vaxxer. What she did was gave an anecdotal story. Okay, we don't know if it's bullshit or not. I don't know. But if it's real for her, then we might as well assume it's real. You know what I'm saying? Not for everyone, but just for her and her experience. For people to go and call her an anti-vaxxer, I don't think that's necessarily the case. It could just be that maybe she just feels because she's required to get the vaccine that she doesn't want to get one. And what I mean by that is like, I think there's probably more people who are anti-vax now because you push it and force it upon them. Like, maybe someone could educate me on her vaccination status or if she's anti-vax, but I do think there's a good number of people out here that have the general public trying to push something on you. Some people are just like, no, she's just a fucking human being. She's a goddamn human being, bro. And that's all her fucking words should be taken as. A human being. She doesn't know shit. She's not a doctor. Why the fuck do we give a damn?
Gambit.
Yeah, so, and Nicki Minaj not anti-vax at all. We got Chris is being silly again, of course, saying stupid shit like she didn't want to go to the Met Gala because of the vaccine. She cited her reason for not going to the Met Gala was because of her kid. But Chris probably read all of the bullshit articles that came out attacking Nicki Minaj with just complete nonsense. So like you said, do your fucking research. Her Twitter is public. You can go read it. So in reference to what started a lot of this, somebody tweeted her and said, I had to get the vaccine because they wouldn't let me look for a job or get a job to earn some money, blah, blah, blah. And her response to that was, I know, babe, a lot of countries won't let people work without the vaccine. I definitely recommend they get the vaccine. They have to feed their families. I'm sure I'll be vaccinated as well because I have to go on tour, etc. So there's nothing about Nicki Minaj that's anti-vax whatsoever. What's really happening is Nicki Minaj said, I'm uncomfortable and I want to do more research. And there's a lot of airhead, dumb fuck people that feel like, oh, I should be able to mandate people do whatever I want because of how I feel. The real problem that the media had with Nicki Minaj and all the other people that follow on these dumbass lines is that they want the vaccine mandate and they feel like I'm gonna just label anyone that has any hesitancy as an anti-vax because I hope that changes their opinion. You're all dumb fucks if you take that opinion, period. I don't see any other way to square that.
Okay.
And she wasn't just attacked like a random person. The prime minister, I think Fauci said something about her, Joy Reid, Piers Morgan, the list goes on and on. So what they have done to her is not like a regular person. This has been a coordinated attack from tons of people in the Democratic Party and tons of people in the media to attack her because she showed any signs of hesitancy. And she didn't preach, hey, go get the vaccine today for everybody. She said, hey, you can go get it if you want to work. But me, for myself, I'm going to do more research before I get it. That's what people have a problem with. They have a problem with people having brains and wanting to make decisions for themselves.
KTN.
Yo, I don't give a fuck if she doesn't want to take the vaccine. Straight up, like, if she's, I don't want to take the vaccine and she fucking dies, no RIP for me. Straight up, like, that's just basically my opinion on it. Why do we care about? Like, that's a bigger problem. Why do we care about celebrities and what the fuck they say? If you really care about this, if you really care about the facts, the CDC said this. Go get your vaccination. Listen to them. This other person said that. If you believe them, that's on you. I'm not really on this bandwagon of like, influencers say dumb shit, so like I'm gonna like chase them down or I'm gonna like get mad at them because I'm just not gonna listen to them. It's as simple as that. I don't give a fuck what Ja Rule has to say. You know what I mean? Like it comes down to that. Like so, for me, if you're like I'm part of me. For me, it's like why are we so caught up by this like malleability of like just people in general to just always get caught up by celebrities and it's just to me it's silly and then but I took the vaccine whatever and I'm not like super angsty about like the mandates because I took that shit. I'm good. I did what I had to do. You know what I mean? If you don't want to do what you want to do, I'm not sympathizing for you. I'm not chasing you down. I'm not doing any of that shit. Fuck you, die. You know what I mean? And then the other part about it is, you know what? This is also a cover up, in my opinion, for her fucking boyfriend who just got jammed up a couple days ago for being a fucking sex pest. So I don't know. Like that's another thing that everybody's ignoring. 6 days ago, my man I think just did just got like sentenced to like some crazy amount of time for not registering as a sex offender. So that might just be a wag the dog issue too. So
Okay. Go ahead, Chris, and then Sig.
Yeah, look, she could have been said this, or like she could have just kept it to herself. Why did she choose to say it now? Why like this the time to say it now? And why do it on Twitter? We all know Twitter is a game, right? She put it out there because she knows it's going to get clicks, right? She's going to get engagement on it, right? And she knows what she's doing, right? If she changes, like she like tries to clean it up down the line, that's fine, whatever. But like, bro, like we're not stupid at this point. If you're still
what do
saying,
you mean she tried to
I'm
clean
not
something
buying
up?
that shit, Chris.
What do you
I'm
mean
sorry,
she tried
bro.
to clean something up? She said she told people to get the vaccine before she even expressed her hesitancy. Do your fucking research. You're just saying dumb shit that you read in articles that were bad faith to her. Say some shit that's real. Her Twitter's public.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure the statement that like she'll probably get vaccinated when she goes on tour happened after she talked about not going to the Met because they have a vaccine requirement.
Oh, is that true?
Or she said that like she wasn't a vet. She's not going to get vaccinated because of the vet's vaccine requirement. Let's be clear with their language.
Let's go.
No, she never said that at all.
She never said that. That's a complete lie.
Wait, I'm literally reading the tweet right now. She literally said that the Met has a vaccine requirement and that she's not going to get vaccinated because of their requirement. Right? Not like she's not going to get it, but that's not going to be the reason that she gets vaccinated. That's exactly what her tweet says, like almost word for word. And you can go read it if you want.
I'm gonna link the tweet for everybody in chat.
Let's go to Sig.
All right, so like, there's a couple of things here. Just to push back a little bit on Top Dolphin, Cal, and KTN, I think. This whole questioning of like, why do we care? Why do we care? All right, so I feel like it's like the reverse of like the capitalism type thing. All right, so I gotta argue we live in a society. So whatever the fuck famous people say, it matters. Okay? Because people retweet it, people follow it, it just does. Okay? I don't want it to, you don't want it to, but it does. All right? It does so much that actual fucking real ass politicians had to come out and decry this shit when she was spreading misinformation.
What
like
about
taking
the
a fucking vaccine.
misinformation?
To her, it
What
wasn't
makes that
misinformation.
wait, what makes that misinformation?
What makes that misinformation? The clear implication is that, oh man, if you're worried about the vaccine, remember my cousin.
No.
My
She ain't
cousin's
claiming to be a
If you're bad
scientist,
faith,
bro.
if you're bad faith,
It's
you
not
can
about
say
claiming
that.
to be a scientist. She literally spread misinformation. It's not about claiming to be a scientist. What she's famous, what she says matters, so people are going to take her seriously. So it doesn't matter. It literally does not fucking matter if she's a scientist or not.
Bro.
People just take her seriously because
That's the
she's famous.
problem. That's the problem. We take celebrities
Okay,
serious for
yeah.
no fucking reason.
Well, we
They didn't
always
ask
say,
for
well,
this
KTN,
shit, though.
problem.
well, KTN, we always did. We live in a society, dead ass. Like, you guys tell me I got to deal with capitalism and shit. Y'all got to deal with celebrities saying this dumbass shit. So we got to start talking about it. Okay? That's just the way this shit works. It's always how it worked. I don't
Bro,
fucking like it.
Look, if somebody is looking to Nicki Minaj for goddamn medical advice, they're fucking. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna keep it real.
Sure.
I don't care how
Sure.
big
No,
the
Cal.
platform she has, and
I
you can
agree.
say that she has a responsibility because she has the platform, but I don't think
Yeah.
that's the case. 9 times out of 10, when they started this shit, their platform, whatever, it was to promote her music. She's a goddamn musician. She's a
Okay.
celebrity. Okay. Why are people taking medical advice from her, even if she has that influence?
Because they're taking the story and pretty
Yeah.
much her story is she's saying, and I get both sides. We're not supposed to take advice from her, right? But if now she's saying a personal thing that she's saying, hey, guess what? This vaccine might cause impotency because this happened, and then someone else goes and jumps on board also because they say, oh, it happened to Nicki Minaj, and then oh, it happened to me too. So then people are saying that, so then you have this contingent over there. So yeah, so like you're saying, we're not supposed to take advice from it, and right now she's not giving medical advice. She's giving a story that this could be the reason why it happened, and that's why, and that's where I'm saying
it's almost the same thing as people saying that that Trump won the fucking election. There's plenty of dummies and influencers saying that Trump won the election.
But KTN,
But I don't give a fuck what they say because it's not the truth.
that's you though,
Yeah,
but that's not
KTN,
other people.
You can hold on. This is
Why are
hilarious.
why are
You can
people so susceptible to
KTN.
that
You
kind of
keep
bullshit?
saying you don't care. You keep saying you don't care, but they stormed the fucking Capitol. We have to care about that because that fucking misinformation matters, dog. Okay,
True.
You're just like, oh man, people kept saying Trump won. Who cares? They're dumb. Well, those dumb fucks stormed the fucking Capitol. Okay. All right, this shit matters. Misinformation matters. It doesn't fucking matter if they're stupid.
Dumb fucks stormed the Capitol, but I think that's a different. Like those dumb fucks who stormed the Capitol were out there for violence. If a couple people
it starts at
It starts at this person. Okay, KTN. It starts at this person, this famous person, having a platform and spreading misinformation. Okay,
Yeah.
and that means they need to start. We need to start doing something and talking about this sort of shit.
But then that's the major problem with society right now. It's the idea that we're letting dumb fucks guide the
sound like
general
me.
public.
KTN, you sound like me with the capitalism thing. You sound like me. Okay, I'm accepting that this is the way society is. Society is like this, so we have to deal with it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. I agree with the shit you're saying. I agree. Oh, they're fucking stupid. Oh, fuck them. No, we can't just say fuck them. We can't say that. We have to do something about it because it's dangerous. The last year and a half showed us just how dangerous this misinformation shit is. Fucking something needs to happen. Okay? And yeah, Nicki Minaj needs to get dunked on really hard by these politicians. That's why they're coming out saying this shit. Because it's fucking dangerous. People are gonna
I think there's a middle
like,
ground
oh,
where we
man.
can say that we don't need to hold Nicki Minaj to the same standard as we do like licensed physicians. But if she says some dumb shit on Twitter about vaccines, you should be able to call her we probably have a responsibility to call her out on it. And she probably has a responsibility not to talk about shit she doesn't know about, right? I don't think it has to be this dichotomy where we either don't care at all or Nicki Minaj is now a fucking doctor and everything she says needs to be held to that level of scrutiny. There's a balance here.
Let's go to Smooth.
I'm not even
Smooth. Give it a try.
Okay, so listen. Just for context, for tweet order. So for tweet order on that day that she was talking, she has a tweet where she responded to one of her fans or whatever, and basically it was in a response to another tweet that was saying guess who just had COVID and couldn't see their baby for a week or whatever. And then she mentioned somebody said to her, get vaccinated, and she put that in quotes, and then she said Drake had just told me he got COVID with the vaccine. So she already started showing vaccine hesitancy like early on in her tweets.
That's
And
fine.
then she's like, baby, that's not true. I had the exact same symptoms as people with the vaccine. And then she's like, and then she says they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. You know what I'm saying? And then she said, if I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. So that's in support of man, I can't see.
No, that's not in support of Top Dog. No, that's complete lie.
No. For
complete lie.
No.
Read
It's
the
on
whole
her page.
fucking
I'm
tweet.
literally
Read the tweet.
on her Twitter.
Can you read the tweet? Can you read the tweet? Can you read it?
Okay, all right.
I just read
I'm reading it
it.
right now.
I think this is just irrelevant to the central thing. I don't get who gives a fuck if she's
No,
anti-vax
let
or
him
not.
read the
It doesn't
tweet.
actually matter.
Let him read the tweet.
No, just for context.
Can you read the
I
tweet?
don't.
Can you just
yes,
read it?
So listen, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I've done enough research. I'm working on that now.
Okay,
in the meantime,
why did she not get vaccinated? Because she
my
said
love-
she
in-
hasn't
in the
done enough
meantime-
research.
In the meantime, my love, you say blah blah blah, wear a mask and all that other
Thank
stuff.
you. So she didn't get vaccinated because she felt she hadn't done enough research. It had nothing to do with the Met. She was saying, I won't be forced into it, but she was saying, I'm uncomfortable because I haven't done enough research. It says, it'll be once I feel I've done enough research. The barrier for her getting the vaccine was her feeling like she had done enough personal research to get that. It had nothing to do with...
Thank you for quoting me,
No,
Gambit.
that's
Was
not-
literally what I
You
said.
said she
literally
didn't
what-
get vaccinated because of the Met.
I
You
said
said...
that
No,
the reason
that's what it says.
that she was going to get a vaccine was not
This is
like, the
reading
rules.
comprehension 101. You said word for word she didn't get vaccinated because she felt like the Met was trying to force her. That's what you said word for word. I will go clip the shit if you need me to. The reason she didn't get vaccinated was because she said she didn't feel comfortable. It's reading comprehension. There's 3 sentences. Read all of them.
Okay, all right. So let's go to Chris Cosmo.
I'm sorry. I consider I need to do more research as anti-vax dog whistling. I just do, right? And that may be like just
Nicki
me.
Minaj ain't that
Right.
smart.
You don't have to be intentional to dog whistle, right? But that
Yes,
is like that is a dog whistle for a lot of anti-vax people. And how many months are we into this? It got FDA approved.
Years.
What more? Like you can go on spend like any point in the day, right? You need to do some research. It's all right there. The click of a button, super quick. You don't need like that much. If you need information from your doctor, get it. What is she waiting on? Why does she wait all this time to say this? Right? It's because she has some real reservations about this that are just borderline. If I won't, you all right, I'll pull back. I won't say she's completely anti-vax, but she's using some of this anti-vax rhetoric, right? She's making it seem like she's all innocent, like, oh, I just need to do more research. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not too sure about this. Gives an anecdotal like story about like swollen balls. Like what is going on, right? Why do you need to do this? Why did you need to say this?
So people
Right,
have any
somebody that's- wait,
hesitance
wait, wait.
towards the
I'm gonna ask him a
vaccine is
specific question.
anti-vax?
Somebody that
This
expressed
is not my position.
but they also say I'm gonna get the vaccine because I have to go on tour. Do you think that person is anti-vax?
See, now this argument
so
is
listen.
so bad, okay?
She
It's just-
also tells her fans, "Hey, you should go get vaccinated, especially if you in a
She
position."
said that after
What?
the wave of backlash. Like she's already getting raked over the coals. Like she said that hours later. Like she got raked over the coals,
No,
bro.
she
the
got
only
raked over
person
the
that
coals
truly
on
the only
TV,
person
like,
that
a
truly
couple
knows
hours later.
about the vax or anti-vax status of Nicki Minaj is in her own head is her. Okay, guys, we're never gonna
Right.
win this. Okay, I just
Right.
want to say I feel like this is an unwinnable sort of thing here.
Right,
all
it
Because
is.
we're just throwing tweets at each other and all this bullshit. All right, it's gonna go back and forth. It's not gonna get solved. The thing is just like, is this responsible? Should we start thinking about celebrities, okay, or public figures in general, and spreading this fucking misinformation? Because it's clearly dangerous. It's polarizing
Yes.
our society
What
completely.
misinformation?
All right.
And let me
Everything's polarizing.
let's also be clear. I kind of agree.
Implying, okay,
Chris.
THC Gambit, like Gambit, like implying that taking the vaccine will give you fucking syphilis symptoms, okay? Like that shit.
That man
All
got syphilis.
She said,
Yes,
she said,
she
"Hey,
was.
somebody took the vaccine and this was the outcome."
I mean, there's
Yeah.
always been some type of adverse side effect. So how do we know?
No, but
Like,
the
she said,
thing
hold
is,
on.
that's not
She said a
misinformation.
friend of her cousin. She heard a rumor
right.
from her cousin,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
is saying that out as if she's
It
giving
doesn't make it
information.
misinformation.
Hold on. Would you rely on that, right? Or would you Gambit, right? If you had heard
Yes.
that, let's put away Nikki for a second. If you had heard that, and you were a celebrity, right? People love you for your Rastafarian roots, right, and the music you've been creating. But would you put that information out there, no understanding the environment that we're in? Would you say that, yeah, I heard it from my cousin that their friend had swollen testicles after they, maybe I guess after they got the COVID vaccine, and
after they got the vaccine.
Yeah, and I'm linking those two things together. Would you do that?
I would. I don't see a problem with it at all in any way.
I
don't care.
That's
I don't
literally a
care.
rumor.
Okay, Gambit. Do you
No,
not
you
see this
asked me a
as
question.
misinformation?
No.
Is this not misinformation to you? You
No.
really don't think this is?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
Okay, so
I mean,
to
I
you,
kinda-
what is misinformation? Hold on, I need to know the definition of misinformation coming from you. What is your definition of misinformation? Like, what would make this tweet? Like, what would make this tweet misinformation for you?
I don't think anything about some anecdotal thing like, hey, I took the vaccine and I had a miscarriage. I think it's this. I don't think that's misinformation at all, period. Anyway, like in the story, I think misinformation is like when there's if I say, let me think, I don't know, the vaccine isn't helpful. Something like that. Like that's misinformation. I can't give you a boiled down definition. I don't want to give you examples. So we'll do what we always do.
No definition, no examples, but this is definitely
False or inaccurate information, especially which is deliberately intended to deceive. So it doesn't have to intend to deceive, but it could. But yeah, false or inaccurate information. Yes.
Okay.
So is it necessarily false and inaccurate information if the anecdotal is true though?
So listen,
I don't know if we can
we're-
know if
Wait,
it's
the
true or not.
implication of the antidote is
No.
that the vaccine
Yeah, it's-
caused said symptoms, right?
Yeah,
we're-
right.
we're
no,
It's
we're
like-
not.
it's like-
I'm
it's
not-
like,
We're
okay.
not disagreeing with that.
Which
It's like, okay,
would be
Gambit, it's like if I were to say,
misinformation.
my cousin's friend got the vaccine and then he got in a car accident, right? So before you guys do this vaccine, I'm just going to say, you guys got to
No.
think about what's
No,
going on.
that's not coherent.
She's linking
stretch,
unrelated
bro.
shit.
So
No,
listen,
that's-
there's a problem with
Sig is like
causation
100%
and
based here.
correlation here. Causation and correlation.
Yes,
Just because-
causation is what she
Just
thought.
because they got the vaccine, does that mean it caused him to have big balls? Like
No.
Or
South Park?
impotency?
It
Or
doesn't.
Like, that's not what happened.
Not necessarily.
Yo,
But
I
she's
really,
lying at that.
I really,
One,
I really
the entire field of medicine is based off of correlations. There's no like causation with that shit. Okay, like when you say like
Side
this
effects are
does this, it's
causation.
because there's very high levels of correlation. The whole correlation causation meme is like a really dumb thing that you learn in elementary school. But like most of the research that we like base our lives off are correlations, not causations, right? That's the first thing, and then the second thing is that like it's 100% that like she implied. And now you can say she didn't do it so maliciously. She implied that like the vaccine had these side effects based on some story from some friend of some cousin, and that is spreading misinformation. Now I'm not saying she was doing it intentionally. I'm not saying she was doing it maliciously, but she did it.
All right, hold on, wait.
And we should
all
be
right,
able to
all
call her
right,
out on
because-
that.
Wait, because y'all are so bad faced.
So
So I'm just
aspirin
gonna read the
doesn't
tweet.
cause blood
No,
clot.
we just
can
look
we
at-
read the tweet?
we just
Can we
look at
read
the
the tweet?
idea that nobody
Yeah.
even
Okay.
knows who this fucking guy is. The country of Trinidad tried to find him and they couldn't even find him.
Okay,
Personally,
wait,
I think she's
because-
lying about the whole thing and she's just trying to cover up
Okay,
the fact that the fucking man
I will
is
read the
right.
tweet
I just
if you want
wanna
me to read
read
the
the
tweet.
tweet
Was the
because
hot-
so many.
So I think they're just
I'll-
getting
Can I
I'll read
read
the
what
tweet.
we're talking about?
Okay,
Just getting
okay,
started.
okay,
Can I read it,
okay,
Gatsy?
okay. Yes, one person read
Yes,
it.
and
Go
so
ahead.
many people are bad faith here today. My cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became
Impotent.
impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called out the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. So basically, in that tweet, she's saying that her cousin is uncomfortable because he's hesitant that getting the vaccine causes balls to get swollen.
Oh my, dude,
Okay.
this is delusional
Okay.
levels of
Okay.
charitability right here.
No, hold on. No, I'll tell you the part that's misinformation. Because I find out because if when they got the vaccine, depending on how long ago they got the vaccine, right now it is too soon to tell if someone's impotent or not. And
Yo, I
that's
don't even
what,
think this guy exists.
no,
Everyone knows
but
this
I'm
guy
saying
doesn't
if
exist.
the person
Why
existed,
are we even getting caught in this fucking thing in general?
No,
They tried to look for this guy, they couldn't even fucking find him.
no, but I'm
Why
saying
are
if
we
he's
caught
real,
in this
no,
fucking lie?
no, and I'm saying if
Why
he's
are we
real,
caught in this lie?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why are
no,
we
Hold on,
following
hold on.
no,
Frankie.
no. Let's see if he is real. right now too. From the timeline of when he got the vaccine, it is impossible to tell if he's impotent because of the vaccine right now, and that's where the misinformation is, and that's why
He's
people
not-
got on her.
Wait.
When did he get the
Nobody is making the claim that he's directly impotent because of the vaccine. She's saying that a friend that she has is hesitant because this happened to somebody else. She
Yeah,
never
but
makes a
the
claim.
implication though.
No.
she's implying it because she's saying
I
she
can't talk.
because she
All right,
said
you
my
talk.
cousin
Go ahead.
in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. That's a correlation right there, and that's what she's saying, and that's I know I get what you're saying. She's not saying
No, you don't, because you won't let me talk. No, you don't.
okay. What are you saying?
Yes, what she's saying is her cousin, rightfully or wrongfully to us, is hesitant because of this situation. Because maybe her cousin she's not saying herself, I'm confirming that this caused this. She's saying that these are the facts, and my cousin, because of this, is afraid to get the vaccine. So she's not making a claim that the vaccine caused this. She's making the claim that because these two events occurred, that's why her cousin is afraid.
This
So
is
she's making a claim.
My friend who owns he owns a business, right? They're a little hesitant about this whole diversity thing. They hired a black guy, and then later on, all their equipment, some of the equipment started going missing. So, but I'll just put that out there into the world.
Don't get bullied into accepting diversity.
Make sure you're comfortable.
Just pray on it. Just pray on it. And make sure you're comfortable.
Your decision.
So would you say that? Wait. With your statement, would you say that person is claiming that black people steal?
I'm saying,
you put it on Twitter.
Yeah, they are implying that black people.
I'm asking prime question.
Yeah, sure. Right. I'm saying that they're linking these two things together, right? Whether they mean to or not, these two things are being linked together, right? And not in a vacuum. Not in a vacuum where, right, like, well, there's black people and there's white people and there's Asian people and they have all kinds of different traits, right? And we judge each one by the content of the character. No, we're doing an environment when black people are linked to crime. So to put these two things together, right, and saying, oh, well, someone else is hesitant about it, right? That doesn't absolve you of the blame. It doesn't absolve you. You understand, because you're a thinking fucking adult, that these two things are linked in people's minds. And so, bring it back to Nicki Minaj, these people understand that in this environment, when I said this environment, I mean the environment of COVID misinformation, where people are saying that all kinds of symptoms and negative results of getting this vaccine exist, right? And that completely unhinged from reality. So to put these two together in this environment, right? And by being a thinking adult, yes, you have culpability. So yes, not you, but Nicki Minaj is spreading misinformation.
Okay.
I want to say, I think you're being a little bit too charitable. I don't even think that I don't think you need the environment to say that she's like making this correlation. And for example, like fucking Nazis on Twitter do this shit all the time. Like, I'm not questioning the Holocaust, but like those numbers, like I saw something that said that the numbers like might not be exactly what they're doing. This is an environment where like Nazis are bad, but like they're obviously linking the things in the same. Like, this is the level of shit like that Nicki Minaj is doing. She's heavily flirting with anti-vaxxism here. I don't know what you would call it. It's like, it's so obvious, and to say otherwise is like delusional levels of like charitability.
And then
go ahead.
Spawn, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so all y'all are being horribly bad faith.
Okay.
What y'all are doing, like, if somebody gets vaccinated and they have some sort of experience that they concoct could be related, whether it is or not, I am fine with that person saying that every single time. This is how we try to figure out patterns and try to get things investigated to see, does X cause Y? Now, you can say this situation seems to be a bit ridiculous, which I think it is, but that doesn't mean that people can't say it. So I don't give a fuck about the environment at all.
I said she could say it earlier.
I agree with you.
We're not arguing.
Like, she's not talking about her symptoms.
Finish.
I'm gonna finish. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna finish. Okay.
I didn't hit the finish.
No, I'm talking about Top Dolphin. He was interrupting me. I'm not talking about you. But okay, so I don't give a fuck what negative effect people are incorrectly or correctly linking to it. If somebody has an experience, I'm okay with them saying that, and then we'll look into what happened and try to figure out what's possible, right? So I feel like what y'all are really doing, because a lot of y'all have this dumb idea of vaccine mandates, anything that could look bad for the vaccine, you're always going to come out horribly against it and say that person X is bad just because they express any hesitancy.
So,
Chris almost said it verbatim, and I feel like a lot of y'all engage in that. And Prime, I would include you in
okay.
this category
Hold
because
on.
we've talked about this before. This very exact thing
Hold
before.
on. So before I'm gonna send it to Sig, then topped off in the KTN. Okay, Sip Doc. All right. But I'll say one thing to you, right? Like you're saying, well, they had this experience. No, Nicki Minaj did not have this experience, right? Who had this experience? It was the friend of her cousin in a country she doesn't live in, right? How many times have every single one of us heard a family member of ours like relate something that their friend happened, right? That was some complete dumb shit that we know didn't happen. You know this happens, and I know this happens, right? A game of fucking telephone in an environment of misinformation, specifically around this topic, right? So, what if this is a fucking anti-vaxxer who's just saying, oh yeah, I'm experiencing these symptoms, and it could have been, whether they happened or not, right? No one knows, no one can investigate it, but Nicki Minaj is a public figure who understands, and I don't think she's a dumb person. I'm not underestimating her intelligence. So she knows what putting that kind of information or that kind of messaging out in this time means. So, like, don't give me that, like, oh, she's just putting out information about her experiences. She doesn't know that experience happens. She has no fucking clue, right? If it happened to her, that'd be one thing. That'd be maybe one thing, right? I think that's a bit more interesting of a conversation. But it didn't happen to her. It didn't happen to her cousin. It happened to a friend of her cousin, and she's hearing it from another person, and not even in the same fucking nation. So no, that's spreading fucking rumors in a very dangerous environment.
It's rumors, but that doesn't make somebody anti-vax.
Okay, I'll say that's two different things. I'll say that's two different things. So Sig, topped off, and then KTM.
Yeah, Gambit. I feel like there's like a lot of defensive of positions that, like, personally I don't really care to hold. I don't really care about. Like, do I think that Nicki Minaj is being intentionally malicious? I don't know, and it doesn't matter. Literally, that to me doesn't matter. Is she literally anti-vax or not? Doesn't matter. My point is she's spreading misinformation. All right. And if you want to maybe you can argue with me about that point, but saying like, oh, this doesn't make her bad, this doesn't make her this doesn't make her, so what? I don't give a fuck what it makes her. It's just about whether or not it's.
I was arguing that it wasn't misinformation. I was directly responding.
Right, you were, and I don't know how you can still say that it's not misinformation. Like, somehow, like, do you think misinformation must be deliberate? I mean, it was said that it doesn't need to be deliberate, right?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be deliberate.
Right, and you're just saying she's just like repeating an anecdote that she heard. Now, do you not understand that, like, that alone can just be dangerous on its face? You don't need intent or anything.
Wait, I didn't say that this couldn't be like injurious to how people feel, but that doesn't make it false information.
Hold on, it's not about false. Hold on, wait. That was what you actually said was, it made sense. It can be injurious to people's feelings. You said,
yeah, on getting vaccinated. I see all of those things that y'all are saying, except that it's misinformation. She's anti-vax, blah blah blah. You can say it harms the conscience of people, blah blah. All of that, I don't care. That's the true thing. It definitely can do damage to how people feel about getting vaccinated. But that doesn't mean that her making the claim is bad. Her spreading it as misinformation, or her spreading it as anti-vax. Those are completely different.
That's a fucking opinion.
Hold on. But okay, the thing is, I never called her anti-vax.
No.
I'm throwing. I never called her anti-vax, right? Two, the thing is, it is misinformation because you can't tell in the span of the 6 to 9 months we had it that impotency is caused by the vaccine. So you can't say it's impotency because of that too. And three, she's not creating the misinformation. But four, that means she's spreading it because if you can't show the impotency of it right there, that is spreading misinformation because the impotency part is the misinformation. I'm not saying, and yes, someone else told her, so she didn't create it, but she's spreading it.
Wait, you're saying that because you can't falsify her statement, it's missing. What are you?
Impotency, because she's saying her friend won't get it, her cousin won't get it because her cousin's friend became was it? I can't even say it anymore. Impotent.
Yeah, I hate
Impotent.
that word.
Yeah. You can't become impotent from the shot like that. So right now, because it's like that too, they do not correlate, and you cannot say it.
You can
So
say that you feel like it's false, but that doesn't.
no.
mean that
So you could say he thinks he became like that too, but the thing is you can't prove it, and that's where I'm saying that's false information.
She never made a statement about proving it.
No, but no, so that's the thing. She never made a statement about it. She's saying that's what she heard. So I'm saying she is spreading misinformation. I'm not saying she's creating it. I'm saying she is spreading it.
Okay, so we gotta move this along. So with Top Dolphin and then K10.
You're muted, Dolphin.
He should be. Now I'm playing.
Oh my god.
He did. I'm so sorry. All right. I can't. This is like crazy. Like Gambit is engaging in like delusional levels.
He
of,
loves
like,
Nikki, man.
charitability
Let him
here.
love Nikki.
You are like such the biggest Nicki simp I've
Why are we
ever
throwing
seen in my
these
life.
labels around, man?
I don't give a
Nicki's
fuck
the
about
GOAT.
Nicki
This has
Minaj.
nothing to do
Like
with
she
my
has a
love
few
for
songs
her.
that slap. I don't listen to her music at large, but whatever. But I just want to make like very clear, right? It's not only that she's saying that these things happen, but she very well doesn't have like any standing on. Besides that, it's like the story of a friend of a friend. But she's also talking about using the story of a friend of a friend. She's directly saying afterwards that like that you should use this in your decision on whether in a conversation on whether or not she should be vaccinated, right? And that's like for me the most harmful part. It's not only that she's saying, "Oh yeah, my cousin in Trinidad," like let's say that the Trinidad cousin thing is true. My cousin in Trinidad like got the vaccine, then and then afterwards discovered they were impotent and their testicles got swollen and all this shit, right? And like and let's say that statement's true. And then she also says, "Oh yeah, by the way, like you should use like remember that like by the way, pray on your decision to get the vaccine and don't get bullied into it," right? Like she's directly using this like really bad like I won't even call it an anecdote. She's using this really bad piece of gossip, right? To encourage people to question the efficacy of the vaccine in a not okay way. Like I would be totally on your side if her rhetoric was like, hey, like I need to talk to my doctor and make a decision about like whether or not to get the vaccine. And like everyone, you should all go talk to your doctors before you make a decision because like this is a really big decision for you. But no, she's saying go pray to God and remember that my cousin's friend got like made impotent by this thing before you make your decision because people are trying to bully you into it. And that is like gross levels of misinformation. And if you can't see that that's gross levels of misinformation, I understand because Nicki Minaj makes good music and you love that music and that's okay.
And starships are meant to fly.
My like for her music.
Such a good song, man.
If this was Kendrick Lamar, who's terrible, I would say the same thing. There's nothing to do with her at all. It's just the idea that y'all think that, hey, anything that could cause like negative thoughts about the vaccine should be shunned from society. It's simple.
You're assuming that was
I never said that, by the way.
Yeah, no one said that.
No, that's how y'all are reacting. Y'all are saying because her cousin has what I would consider flawed logic, and because
by the way, she's not representing her cousin's opinion here, right? You've done this like 6 or 7 times now. She's using her cousin as a facet of the story. She's not saying my cousin feels uncomfortable getting the vaccine because of this her friend. What she's saying is that her cousin's friend had this situation. The cousin is not like a holder of an opinion in this statement at all. It's completely her.
Wait, I'm not looking at it right now, but I think specifically it says this is why my cousin chose not to get vaccinated. Am I lying?
No, it says my cousin. Oh, okay. Actually.
Oh, so you don't. You're
right. Okay.
Yeah, it says my cousin in Trinidad. Yeah.
Okay.
So
the cousin made
I'll back up a little bit, but okay, her cousin does hold an opinion, but she's also using her cousin's opinion to kind of inform her own.
But you can't
not only to inform her own, but to like inform her audience members' opinions.
Yes, you can say. What's very true is you can say that her cousin probably has flawed logic. You can say Nicki has flawed logic on this and all of that. I accept all of that. but that doesn't mean that there's something particularly negative about her saying this.
Okay, all right.
Hold on. I define negative here. What do you mean when you say
I think we
negative?
just need to
Specific
agree to
negative.
disagree.
Misinformation.
Okay.
So like negative.
So Gambit, hold on. So hold on. So Gambit. So like misinformation. It's weird how you're defining this. So do you think there has to be some sort of negative intention or something?
No,
Do you think
I don't at all. No, I don't.
So like
When people say Trump won the election, that's misinformation. Well, it did cause negative shit, so I shouldn't use that. But yeah, even if it doesn't cause something negative to happen, it's still misinformation.
That's why I need to ask you about your examples of what you consider misinformation to even be. So if I
say the vaccine is completely ineffective, that's misinformation.
Why?
It's misinformation because it's actually effective, and we know that it's effective.
So because it's false.
Yes. If we know it doesn't cause impotency.
Okay. Well, what if we know? Yeah. What if we know it doesn't cause impotency?
Then it'd be misinformation.
I would, if we researched what happened and said this is definitely not what happened, which I think is likely, then it would be considered misinformation at that point.
So it's not misinformation right now.
I don't think you can post. I don't think you can like post hoc claim misinformation. If somebody is making a claim, she's not making a claim that.
Look at research. Can we not look at research, right? That has looked into this, because this is not the first person making a particular claim and link that to the vaccine,
somebody
right?
has died from the vaccine?
So hold on.
You think one person has died from the vaccine?
Wait a second, please.
Let him finish.
This is not the first person. This is not the first person to make a claim about impotency, right? Or infertility as well, right? They looked into this. There is no evidence. There's no evidence linking to that. Now, that's a possibility that just because there's no evidence doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But we'll leave that aside.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say.
But is that how we view evidence? Do we launch a research investigation into every single claim, right? After we looked into it, we've seen that there's no evidence, there's no link between that two, and that there's no mechanism for the vaccine to do any of this, that there's literally no mechanism for it to affect your reproductive system, right? Like at that point, right? It goes into the level of probability that this is not true, that we can accept that until evidence actually shows up. At that point, that's how we use evidence in our day-to-day lives. That's how you use evidence. I know you do.
So silly. This is like insane levels of silly. Listen, how do you think they find out negative side effects? Somebody says some shit that's not possible to be confirmed. They don't know what's true. Let's say somebody took the vaccine and died, right? And they're like, oh shit, he took the vaccine and died, right? What y'all would say is, oh, you can't say that that's misinformation.
I wouldn't say that.
No, that's completely different.
You're making the assumption again, and that's why.
No. I just want to finish. Can I finish?
No. I'm going to finish because you've been doing this for a while. You're saying that we are all against anything that makes a vaccine look bad, and that is definitely not true. And that's a slap in the fucking face to me and other people on this panel.
To all of y'all. So
yeah, and I'm saying for all of us, no one said, and this is what I'm saying. No one said that we're pretty much against anything that makes a vaccine look bad. No one said that.
Y'all as a totality have given that off.
No, I haven't. I said I don't like the fact that she's spreading misinformation on that one too. In the beginning,
all right. Finish up. Finish up, and we got to go to KTN. He's waiting patiently.
Listen, if somebody comes in my house, they say, hey, I take the vaccine, and they died, right? I go on Twitter and say, yo, dude just came to my house and died after he told me he took the vaccine. Right? That's essentially what Nikki did here. Now, it's possible that guy.
No, it's not. It's not even close to what Nikki did.
It's the exact same thing.
No, because the equivalent thing would be a guy came into your house, said he took the vaccine and died, and the equivalent thing would be that your brother's friend said that they had some. Wait. Said that like somebody came into their house and said they took the vaccine and died, and that you're hesitant about getting vaccinated because your cousin's friend said this, and that you're
hundred of this changes anything. You're just adding a whole bunch of bullshit. None of this changes anything.
Millions of followers on Twitter, right, that follow you should be hesitant because of this. Should prey on their decisions.
This
right?
literally changes
Not talk to like. And actually, you want to know something? If
You
she would have
just
said
said- you just
everyone
like,
should
here's
talk
her
to their
fault.
doctor
Listen.
before they get the vaccine, I would be way nicer to her right now, right? But
Who's
no,
doing her
she's like,
research?
she says, pray on it and do your research.
Maybe
Pray on
research
it and make sure
before
you're
you
comfortable and not bullied. She didn't even say do her research in that
Let's go to
tweet.
KTN. KTN.
I mean, I'm kind of just gonna stand firm on the thing that I believe. I believe that this is all just her and her PR team trying to get away from the idea that her fucking man's about to go to jail for doing some scuzzball shit. I mean, look, we know that PR. We know that celebrities sometimes when they want to get away with dumb shit, they go out and do some other dumb shit to get rid of this for the first set of dumb shit. I mean, first of all, if we actually went and looked for this guy and found out, yo, can we see your fucking nutsack to see if these fucking things actually swole up? We would actually have the fucking proof. Why are we entertaining this fucking lie? I don't understand it. Like,
KTN, you are a theory factory. I gotta
I'm not
say,
a
man.
conspiracy theory factory.
No,
Bro,
you
the
really are,
article,
Yo,
the-
kids,
look.
and it's okay.
3 days
Regardless if it's a
before,
lie or not,
6
it doesn't.
days before.
No,
6
let
days
Kay talk.
before. Let
So
me finish.
now-
You guys have been filibustering all day. 6
I
days
haven't.
before.
Y'all have interrupted me every time.
6 days before, her fucking man got indicted because he didn't fucking register as a sex offender. It's been all over,
Bro.
and we all know
so
that
KTN.
celebrities use that kind of shit.
So
to
KTN,
get
your
away.
logic.
What?
It's
Your
valid,
logic
but it
is,
seems a
your
little
logic
conspiracy.
is wait. Your logic is Nikki was bored at home and was like,
No,
how
she
can I
wasn't
get the
bored
heat
at
off
home.
me?
She was not bored at home.
She was bored at home. She said, how can I get the heat off the situation with my husband? You know what? I'm gonna say my cousin had a friend and the
it's
vaccine
perfect.
affected
And
his
why-
balls. That's what
and
you
it's
think.
perfect.
That's what you think. That's what you really think.
This is
I
okay.
mean,
It
that's
does.
what you
Yeah.
No, genuinely tell us. Is that what you think happened?
Look, at the end of the day,
No, can you give me a yes or no? Can you give me a yes or no?
I definitely think that because
Okay,
what the fuck
so-
is the point? What the fuck is the point of getting up? Everybody
KTN.
knows. Wait, hear
Bro.
me out. Let me finish. Everybody,
KTN,
right now,
her husband had the sex
now-
charge before they got married. She's known about his troubled
Yeah.
past since they got married.
Now-
So using that as an excuse to
Yeah.
say that's why she
Now-
tweeted this is ludicrous.
I don't
It's
think
literally ludicrous.
Okay, go ahead. KTN, finish your point.
all the time celebrities do wild shit like this. If you want to get rid of one fucked up scandal, you just throw some fucking red meat to some fucking assholes who want to write up articles about you.
So
And I
that
mean,
gets her husband out of trouble because she said this.
it doesn't get him out of trouble, but it gets her
Doesn't
out
make
of
sense.
I
If
mean,
anything, this would bring more attention to the people that didn't even know what the fuck was
And what
going on
makes
with her.
more- and what
This is
makes more
silly.
what makes more sense? Talking about your fucking family member in Trinidad who can actually get traced down with all the internet sleuths running around who could
KTN,
find
can I ask
any
another
motherfucker who does any dumb shit.
I promise I'm done after this. I promise I'm done. KTN, I'm
yo,
gonna ask you one more
I'm-
question. I want to ask you
serious.
one more question. I
I'm
want to
serious.
wait.
Just hear me out. I'm serious.
No.
We could actually, if they were, the fucking country of Trinidad went to look for this guy and couldn't even find him.
Can I ask you
Why
one
are we
question?
wasting our fucking time?
Can I
and
ask you a question?
bullshit?
Can I ask you a question? Okay, she's going through a situation. Her husband's going through a situation, right? Which do you think would bring more attention to her during the pandemic? Sending this tweet or literally almost doing anything else at all. This would obviously bring the most attention to her.
Think about this. Anti-vaxxing isn't even a big deal anymore. Nobody, like 101 celebrities. Just listen to me. 101 celebrities are
You
anti-vax.
put 3
And
news
they're all-
articles calling her anti-vax after like 3
You're not.
hours.
Look. You're. I mean, you're exaggerating what I'm saying. I did exaggerate by saying anti-vax, but 101 people.
I didn't exaggerate it. You said it. You said anti-vax is not even that big of a discussion right now in America.
It's a discussion, but it's not a big deal to go on fucking television. It's not a big deal right now because look, everyone's clout chasing. Everyone's clout
Does
chasing.
anybody agree with this?
I mean,
Does
you
anybody
I'm
don't
interrupting, so I don't know if I agree with it or not.
have to agree with me. Plenty of people get on here and say shit that nobody agrees with. You don't have to agree with me. This is just what this is what I understand. Because look, at the end of the day, plenty of are going out here talking about I'm anti-vax, I'm anti-vax, and some of these people don't even give a fuck or mean what they're saying. So it's for celebrity. It doesn't matter if a celebrity says some dumb throwaway shit because the news cycle is going to push this away in about 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to be somebody else talking about anti-vax shit, and then 2 weeks later it's going to be somebody else talking about anti-vax shit, and 2 weeks later it's going to be somebody else talking about anti-vax shit, and there's going to be another cycle of more and more people talking about anti-vax shit. So this Nicki
If
Minaj,
Nikki was just trying to take the heat off, why didn't she just say, the vaccine doesn't work. That would definitely take the heat off. Way better than what she said, right? Like,
So okay,
What?
I do.
KTN,
I do want to like. We've been arguing about this part for like this one. It was more than that. I wanted to talk about whether it's fair to as a celebrity, like despite whatever, like you can move it away from Nicki Minaj, right? But as a celebrity, is it fair to just in our current climate of misinformation express vaccine hesitancy? Right, to say that like, oh, I don't know whether I'll be taking it or not, right? To just say that much in this climate, is that responsible? Are you allowed? Should you be allowed to do that? I mean, not allowed. Is it a responsible thing to do, or is it just like, are you part of the problem at that point? So Smooth.
Okay, so to
And
answer
then Chris,
your
and
thing,
then Sig. Yeah.
okay, to
Okay.
answer your thing. Well, real quick, Dude said Kendrick Lamar was terrible. Like I've been wanting to say that. Like that was wild. Like
He's trash.
I don't like him either.
Damn.
Yo, coming down on Kendrick. He got
Okay,
two good.
come on,
he got
man.
two
Let's not
good
do this
bangers.
tonight.
We're just gonna
I
move
can't
right away
tonight.
from that 'cause
Please.
that's
All right, to your
we're
point,
gonna
bro.
segue. We're gonna segue. To end Kendrick Lamar, if you're watching, I love you. Anyway, so no, I'm just being stupid. But to segue away from that, is it fair to do that to celebrities? Like,
Hell no.
no, it absolutely is fair because they understand their platforms. It's the same way. It's the same way. No. It's the same way. So look, you take this with any issue, whether it be race, sex, you know what I'm saying, like sexual preference or whatever. They know what to say and what not to say. They have a PR person. They do. They have a PR person. They have a publicist. They know what to say and what not to say. They know who to upset and who not to upset. They have a platform, and it's irresponsible to go out and say just anything just egregious and
They're
wild.
not gonna-
Misinformation,
they're-
whether it be factually proven false or it be anecdotally false or
I
whatever.
don't
like
think they're
or
consulting the
category,
PR team on
whatever.
every tweet they make.
Bro, they
I don't think they
literally-
are.
Bro, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But she's getting ready to drop an album. She literally said that like a month ago. She's getting ready to drop an album. She dropped the name of it and everything. Okay, she dropped the name of it and everything. She's getting ready to drop an album.
Bro,
when you're
she's
in
already
album mode,
known, bro.
your label and your PR team is there. Like they're like, yo, let's get this machine running. Let's try and generate some buzz around your name. Now, is this probably buzz in a negative way? Yes, but all press is good press. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
all press is good press.
Okay.
So you
I'm
think
just
she
leaving it
did
like
this
that.
for her album?
I'm not saying
I
that
just
she
think
did
it's
it
slowed
for.
down.
We gotta move.
I think that's reasonable.
I have no idea.
I think that's reasonable.
We'll go
Her
to
publicist
Sig.
said, "Hey, you need to tweet today,"
Shut
and then she tweeted.
Shut up, Sig, Chris, Cal, and then
Again, it doesn't. I'm just gonna say again, it does not matter what this reason is for. It literally doesn't matter if it's a lie. It doesn't matter if it's for PR. What matters is that it's misinformation and it's not responsible. That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's a lie. Okay. It just matters that this is irresponsible. This message goes out and such. People like us are having these fucking discussions on panels, as you can see. All right. And like, is it really responsible for people to be doing this? And I say absolutely not. All right. We already know what misinformation can do. We all were here this year. We saw what it can do. Okay, that's just what it fucking does. So we got to start having a conversation about it. That's all I want. I mean, that's all I really need to say about it.
Chris.
Like, these people. There's people like. Oh, I think. I'm sorry. There's people that's like. I'm sorry. I was more. There's people like. I think Cal is one of these people who's just kind of like. She's just a person. It's just their opinion. They're just expressing their stupid fucking opinion. You shouldn't think about it. But that shit matters. Okay. Like obviously, if Donald Trump just was saying all the awful shit he was saying, you saw what that led to. Okay. You can't just shake your head and just be like, throw up your hands and be
I
like,
think
well,
comparing Donald Trump to Nicki Minaj is a world apart, bro. Being honest.
Okay. Well, do you still think misinformation? So okay, so when you're like Donald Trump, that shit matters though, right?
This motherfucker was actually the president. Nicki Minaj is just a terrible rapper.
Okay. Do you think that what he says? Okay, so what he says though
Starships are
matters
meant to
though,
fly.
right? Gemini?
Yeah, because that actually influences like politics. Nicki Minaj shouldn't influence politics. Donald
She
Trump has
shouldn't-
power.
So
But
this
they
is crazy.
do
So
influence
she
public
doesn't.
opinion.
Hold on. Here's the thing. The Donald Trump was kind of like a Nicki Minaj type guy before. He was just like this famous guy, right? But he ended up becoming president with absolutely no political.
They gave him more
right?
influence.
Right, based off the shit that he said. Okay.
No, based off him
that
becoming
influence
president and the shit.
How
No,
did he
but-
become president?
Saying dumb shit.
I guess so.
Because of the shit he was saying. Because of the
Let's
shit he
go
was
ahead.
saying.
Let's go
Right?
with
Okay.
that. But I don't
So he
think
was
Nicki
a
Minaj-
celebrity. Okay, yeah. So this is a man who was a celebrity
Okay.
who became president based off the dumb shit he was saying, peddling all these conspiracy theories. He became the #1 Obama fucking conspiracy theorist, #1 birther, speaking a bunch of awful shit, racist shit. Okay, and he got popular enough that this motherfucker became president. So this shit matters, okay? All right, I'm not gonna say Nicki Minaj is gonna be president, but hey, if Donald Trump can do it, hey, fingers crossed, you know. But all I'm saying is that what celebrities do and say matters because they can become president off some dumb shit. Okay,
Yeah, but what
They
Nicki
straight up
Minaj is
can.
saying isn't like what fucking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Let's go to
No,
Chris.
It's Chris's turn, then it's my turn.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. To answer Prime's question, it is completely fair to rake these people over the coals, completely flame them. Nikki has more reach than like a lot of politicians in like people's states, right? She can reach like into like just multiple areas just with what she's saying, right? She has like she's not even like all that great anymore, and she still has a rabid fan base. So like this is dangerous. We live in a world where Kanye West was getting votes for president. Like think about that for a second, right? The celebrity stuff matters, right? It really does matter because a lot of people are influenced and they follow these people and they listen and eat up every word that these people say, right? And it's not just a few people. It's not even just like 10,000, 20,000. It's millions, right, of loyal followers around the globe, right? These people have almost too much power. And this is just one platform that Nikki spoke on. It's just Twitter, right? How that message can resonate to other platforms, hit Instagram, hit YouTube, whatever, and like just keep spreading, right? This is a problem. This is why all these politicians come to say something about this. It's why everybody just comes there to like push back on this because it's like they know that she has influence. They know a lot of these people have influence and power to like reach tons of people, tons of audience, especially in the Black community with a Black artist. They're like, they come in because it's like, no, you got to shut this shit down now. This is crazy, right? It's not just a tear down out of nowhere, right? They have plenty of opportunity to do that, especially with the news about her husband that we had a long time ago, which is like there's plenty of things to like say, come out and try to trash talk her for, right? This is one specific thing. Yeah, just coming out now, especially when we're in a time where we're having problems with getting more people vaccinated, right? We're having issues with getting this done, right? So for her to come out and say like she needs to do more research, and you need to do more research, pray on it. Like what does that mean? What are you really trying to say here? Because like we have too many anti-vax examples out there now. We have a ton of
fucking opinion, dog.
Okay.
her opinion is dangerous.
Okay, you can say that, but here's the thing: why are we holding her to that fucking standard? We know that she doesn't.
Because
know
she has
right?
power and reach.
So it seems like everyone's saying because she has a platform and she has that reach, that she automatically needs to be more responsible.
Well,
which I'm
okay.
not necessarily going to disagree with that wholeheartedly. But what I'm also going to say is she is a normal fucking human being and probably doesn't know her actual reach. Regardless how many followers and shit she has on Twitter, she probably doesn't know that people are going to listen to the shit that she's saying and take it as
they're so nice.
Her PR team may know that, but I don't think Nicki Minaj necessarily knows that.
Okay, I'm gonna answer Prime's question because he said if our celebrities, not Nicki Minaj, are they allowed to express hesitancy towards the vaccine in a vacuum without adding on? Yes, they are. But them being a celebrity, they have to know their reach, and just like any of us, because if I go to work and I put my opinion about the vaccine out there for everywhere like that too, and I put it out there in the public domain, I'm gonna get responses for it too, and that's the same thing that they're gonna do. They're gonna do it. She's gonna do as well if she's putting it out there. Or if I go out in the park and yell out like, "Hey, I don't want this," or "I want this," and I'm putting it out there in public domain. If I do it in a just my hesitancy and don't add anything to it, or they're allowed to do that. But there's repercussions. Like everything you do, there's consequences, good and bad. Back to what I was saying, the Trinidad health minister says that there's been reported cases of adverse side effects from COVID to the testicles. So is that now is that misinformation now?
No reported cases.
So no, I think if your testicle is swollen, you're going to the doctor, especially if it's been on that too.
Uh,
So
If you
should go
know
to the
you're
doctor.
infertile, you have to go to a doctor to find that out. So.
yeah,
This-
so
If you found out you're impotent,
so that's and that's where we go to, and that's where I'm saying that part you're adding to the misinformation.
This one thing I want to bring up. You remember when like the whole 5G tower thing was going on, that whole misinformation thing was going on.
Yes.
People on Twitch were getting banned, not permanent banned, but like they were going to people's channels just like chill. Like, what are you doing? Like Dr. Disrespect, but he was still here. Like tons of followers. They even like shut him down for a few days. Like this is really dangerous, and like this isn't just happening in Nicki Minaj. Like there's like if you follow the metal community, people are getting kicked out of their bands entirely, right?
Yeah.
They're getting dropped. If you're like you're spreading like anti-vax stuff, or you just refuse to get vaccinated, and you like really can, like they're just dropping you, right? Or you getting dropped from like entire shows and like venues because like they're not dealing with it. Right, this stuff matters, and like yes, when Nicki Minaj is getting a lot of flack, it's because she's a huge celebrity, so she has tons of followers, tons of people are going to comment on it. It just makes sense. Like it's relative to how successful you are, how much following you have, how many people are able to view what you do.
Maybe she still believes this is her Twitter and she can say whatever the fuck.
No,
she wants
no,
on her Twitter.
and that's why I said
I mean, she can say whatever the fuck
she's
she
allowed to
wants.
say what she wants to say.
Okay.
But there's repercussions to it, and that's why I said it with me.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, but to Prime's question, if she just said that and nothing else, and not the story, and just said, "Hey, I'm hesitant about being vaccine. I'm gonna go do this like that too." That is fine. But it's also what you said before that with the story, and that's a misinformation, and that's why people are going
Okay.
after her.
So
Because that's-
knowing that it's her platform, would you say it's fair for her to face the criticism she is?
Yes, because if I use my platform and at work and I say something misinformation, I have to deal with the consequences.
We're also going on the assumption that we already know she's a fucking doctor, okay?
No,
maybe she doesn't instead of saying maybe she doesn't know her reach, she actually doesn't understand what she said could be
but
taken
it's
as that way. So is
it's the
it
same
fair
thing
to
with-
really criticize her?
Yes, because it's the same thing with me at work. We all have platforms. We all have platforms, and whether it's Twitter, whether it's whether it's your workspace, whether like that. If I go to work and I give out misinformation, whether knowingly or unknowingly, I have to deal with the consequences. Whether it could be someone, and some days I could get ripped by my boss, I could get ripped by everybody, I could get ripped by the whole organization, depending on what it is, how big the snafu is, how deliberate it is, and everything leading up to it. So, and because at work, and however small my platform is, that's my platform. Everything I did to make myself a good worker, that builds to my platform. So I have influence. I have influence of the people under me and over me. It's the same thing with Nicki Minaj, because of her career path, because of what she did, her influence, and the trend she got ahead of. So she has a bigger voice than I. So yes, she is held accountable, just like I'm held accountable to a smaller scale.
Okay, let's go to Sig. And then Top.
You guys, I believe some of y'all earlier and for the last couple of weeks were talking about changing our social standards, right? Change the community, change the standards, change the guidelines. This is what we're coming ahead with, okay? It's clear that what's going on now in society is a shift towards really attacking this misinformation, okay? Attacking people saying very stupid shit, spreading very dumb shit, false shit, these rumors that can harm, because we know more now than ever how dangerous that can be in this information age. Okay, and it's just how much that can lead to death, how much that can lead to killings, how much that can even lead to coups, even genocides in certain countries. Okay, what happens to certain people on shit like WhatsApp, Facebook, all this shit being spread, and that's what's happening here. We're experiencing a change in the culture overall, and we can't just like brush it away and just say, well, that's just their fucking opinion. Oh, well, that's just their fucking thing. Okay, that's just this, because it's not that simple anymore. All right, yeah, maybe it's that simple when it's you or me or some other nobody, okay, with less than like 1,000 followers on Twitch or some dumb shit. Yeah, that does apply. But when it comes to when you got millions, tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of people following you, that shit don't matter anymore. You're a public figure, and you got to hold to public figure standards.
Okay, Top.
Yeah. First, to push back about the idea that it's just an opinion. One, she probably has children and stuff who follow her, and like we probably shouldn't be telling children this kind of shit. She knows 100% that things she says on her Twitter have the kind of reach that they do. You wanna know why? Because the bitch advertises. Okay, that's the whole point of an advertisement. When you advertise, which is part of her job, right, as an influencer, as a celebrity, is you literally using your reach and your platform to get a message to other people so you can make money off of it. So she absolutely knows. Like exactly.
Pause for just a quick second. Thank you, Lauren Southern, for being so kind as to rate us with 215 people. That's awfully kind of you. Hello, all. My name is Prime. We're having this discussion. We're talking about Nicki Minaj and COVID-19 misinformation. We have these closed panels where we invite individuals to be a part of these things, but also, and what we'll do soon, is we have an open walk-on panel where honest members like you, yes, you, sitting at home, you can be a part of this discussion, right? So if any that interests you, or the 1v1s we have, or the interviews we have, or all the things that we do, if any of that interests you, do yourself a favor, hit that follow button right now, make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. I do it 6 nights a week. I give you a lot of content. Don't want you to miss out on any of it. So hit that follow button right this second. Make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. Again, thank you for the kindness, Lauren Southern. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. All right, Top Dolphin. After Lauren Southern rudely interrupted you, go ahead.
Yeah, interrupted by what? Lauren L South? Cool, let's go. I'll be interrupted by her any day. Anyways, yeah, I think it's like really like she sells ads. She knows what she's doing when that her audience has a reach. This is the whole point of selling ads. Like she's sponsored by Pepsi or something. Like she knows that her platform has a reach that it does. And with that, she knows that she should know, like anybody, that there's a responsibility that comes with that platform. And like I want to be clear, we're not talking about like throwing her in jail or deleting her Twitter account or anything like that. Like maybe deleting her Twitter account, we could get there, but I'm not even talking about that. We're just talking about holding her accountable for the things that she says. And there's I keep saying there's levels to this. There's a difference, but I agree with Cal that there's a difference between Donald Trump spreading misinformation and Nicki Minaj spreading information, right? But there's also a difference between me and my 240 followers on Twitter saying something versus Nicki Minaj with her like 22 million followers on Twitter, right? Like there's levels of responsibility based on your reach. And especially when your job, Twitter is part of her job, right? If she had a personal Twitter and like it was locked and only her friends had it and she said it on there, this would be, I would say it's a little bit of a different story. But this is her public Twitter account that she uses to promote her albums and promote her sponsorships. And it's ridiculous to think that we can't hold her accountable for this, that we shouldn't push back against the idea of misinformation. And then like the question that Prime asked, should like people be able to speak out against the celebrities be able to speak out against the vaccine or show level of vaccine hesitancy? I think it's, if done in like a healthy and okay way, it's okay. For example, if a celebrity was pregnant and they said, hey, I have a kid, I don't know if it's okay for pregnant women, I need to talk to my doctor first. Oh, hey, I haven't really looked into anything on the vaccine. I need to go talk to like my doctor or my physician first. Right? If they do it in a responsible way, one of which includes talking to your physician, because these are the people you need to talk to about vaccine decision, not people on the internet, not articles. You need to go talk to your doctors on whether or not you should get the vaccine, because that's a very personal thing for you, and that's a decision that should be between you and your doctor. Like if they went about it in a good way, then like maybe like they can comment on that stuff. But like 9 times out of 10, when people say come out with anti-vax stuff, or vaccine hesitant stuff, it's not because they haven't had a conversation with their doctor. It's not because they actually had like an adverse side effect to the reaction, and because they heard some rumor about something, or they're peddling some propaganda or some misinformation about vaccines, which is very, very harmful. And those people definitely need to be held accountable.
Okay. How would you feel if I said we can hold her accountable 100%, but is it necessarily fair? Not necessarily 100%, because she doesn't know shit. I don't know.
I think I even started with I think the amount of backlash she got was like maybe even a little bit too much. Right, like definitely she should have gotten backlash, but like it was like, a little intense. She's not a doctor. She's not.
Would have thought this would have been a normal tweet that just went into the sea of all these other bullshit tweets. Just being realistic.
But like, so she
Al,
got like
listen,
a
I gotta.
massive amount of backlash from like politicians and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
maybe it was a little bit too much, but like
Wait.
I think a lot of backlash is definitely fair. Just like she did get a lot.
This woman has been in the public eye for over 10 years. Okay,
That woman
she's been
ain't
in the
media trained. I mean,
Okay,
she
actually
might
is.
be.
What do you-
She
hold on,
ain't
hold on.
She's
media
media trained to
trained.
an extent,
What
but
do
she
you
probably didn't know
mean?
that everybody.
Cal,
Wait,
hold on. Okay,
that
this
Dolphin
woman,
was saying.
this woman is definitely media trained. Okay,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
certainly. All right, she was doing the whole underground hip hop thing, and then she blew up doing that kooky Lady Gaga bullshit persona that she dropped
Okay.
as soon as she got popular. Like, what are you talking? She absolutely.
Let me
is media
train. Let me
trained.
change
She
it.
knows how to
She's
get
media
attention.
trained, but not. How about that?
Sorry, you cut
Not
out.
necessarily what
You
trained?
cut out.
You cut out.
I was saying she's media trained, but not necessarily.
Dang,
How
this
about that?
you got cut out again.
Not
Oh, am I getting
necessarily
cut out
what.
still?
Not necessarily
Not
what.
necessarily internet trained. She
Okay.
probably didn't know
We
that
got
this
it.
would
Internet
go explode to the fucking point that it is right now. I bet she
I
made that tweet
bet she did.
mindlessly without knowing.
I bet this isn't
Okay, but
even
hold on,
close
Cal,
to
no,
her
okay, hold on. You said
largest
that.
tweet.
Okay,
She
I have
definitely
to
knows the reach
disagree.
that her tweets have.
Yeah, I have
Like,
to
that's
disagree with
crazy.
you there because
Mhm.
this is a tweet in the middle of a bunch of tweets that she made. She essentially did like a whole like kind of like thread like thing on this. So this was
Okay.
in the middle of a whole bunch of shit she was tweeting. She knows exactly how big the internet can be. I completely disagree. This woman is nearly 40
Shit.
years old. She's been in the public eye for a fucking long ass
She's
time.
40 years
She
old.
knows. She knows exactly. She knows she's internet trained almost certainly. I feel like this is an insult to
Shit.
her. I feel like no. I feel like this is a completely insult to her as a person. She's
Nigga
internet
been-
trained. She knows what she's doing. She's been in the media a long ass time. I don't know why you assume
She
this of
only
her.
an
It's just-
internet on her circle. That's what I would assume. These celebrities or worlds are actually pretty fucking small. They only like. I don't think they're
Yes.
out looking at Reddit articles all the fucking time and shit like.
But they're
But they-
definitely on Twitter.
but
They're
no,
definitely
that-
on Twitter. At least she is. Okay, they're definitely on there, and they read people's takes. Okay, when Hassan called her out, she responded and shit. Okay, so she responds. We should be talking to her. She has her little feuds and all her little bullshit. She knows that what she says is popular and will blow up because she's Nicki Minaj. Can you grant me
does
that?
know
You know
that.
she knows that.
Sure, she probably knows it would explode because she's popular.
Yes.
That, but she probably
Yeah.
didn't know she would receive the reaction that she did. I don't know that 100%.
Maybe
Yeah,
not.
she
Okay,
probably
no one
didn't
can
know she was
predict-
gonna
no
receive the
one
reaction.
No one can predict the reactions to a T, but
Yeah.
she knew this would go out. Okay, because she's Nicki Minaj. She knew
Okay.
that for a fact. She's definitely internet and media trained. Okay.
And she knows her reach because she was nominated as like one of the most influential rap artists.
Gambit. And then yeah, K10 and then Smooth maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I like muted my mic and I just let everybody talk and I'm just.
You are quiet. Is that only for me?
Nice.
Wait, I
No,
sound
he's
low
super
now?
quiet.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were super quiet. Yeah, go ahead now. Try it again.
It's better
Speak
now.
with that
Much
same
better,
energy
much
you
better.
had.
Oh,
Here we go.
okay. Yeah. So I was just letting everybody talk. So I really don't want to continue to address the first point, but there's wide amounts of evidence that COVID-19, not the vaccine, let me be very clear, can cause erectile dysfunction, right? Which is what impotence is a reference of. Okay, so COVID-19 has 29 proteins. The one that we put in the vaccine could or could not be the cause of this. So it's not actually as incoherent as everybody is saying. That
Wait,
a potential
erectile
side effect-
dysfunction is not impotence. Those things aren't even close, Doug.
Yeah, impotence. No, it's
Oh,
like
remember, we're talking about swollen testicles, though.
no.
Swollen testicles.
No, we're talking about
Impotence is the inability in a man to
No.
achieve an erection.
Yeah, no, but remember,
Abnormally
she says
unable
that
to
and
achieve
swollen
sexual
testicles. And,
Yeah, I know.
and then
Can I talk?
and then
you know how
yeah,
you saw how I let you talk?
Yeah.
That was cool, right? Like you
No,
got to
I was
finish all
telling
your
you,
shit.
I was correcting
Oh,
everything.
you know, you smile. Yeah, it was cool. I just let everybody talk, right? All right. So it's possible that anything that comes from the vaccine comes from the virus itself could theoretically come from the vaccine. So it's not as incoherent as y'all are trying to put off. Do I think it happened? Absolutely not. Not at all. Not even a chance. But this is how things get. And basically what y'all are saying is if somebody is the first to have some sort of tribulation that person should be silenced because there's no prevailing data for them to be able to come forward, no matter how wild the claim is, right? If somebody dies, no, you can't say this. That's irresponsible because we don't have a record of people dying from the vaccine. So you saying this is misinformation. I'm saying simply this is how information gets out with everything. And to parry this, if Nicki Minaj's statement said, and I wrote this statement down, I don't shop at Walmart because my cousin had a friend that worked there that was fired because they're black. Walmart doesn't care about black people. I think black people should be careful with working at Walmart. If Nicki Minaj tweeted this, we wouldn't even have a panel talking about what she said. What's really going on is y'all's feelings about any form of hesitancy. We would not have a panel to say, hey, do you think Nicki Minaj
You're
was
doing it again.
Do you think Nicki Minaj was irresponsible talking about Walmart? We wouldn't. None of y'all would do this.
Yeah, I 100% would talk about that topic.
Everything here is related to how y'all feel about anybody that's vaccine hesitant at all. That's really what's going on. Y'all are trying
Not
to
true at
play
all.
with all of this stuff about her reach and all of this. It's not about any of that shit. All of this is about vaccine hesitant. This would be a non-issue if anybody reported anything, as long as it wasn't about the vaccine.
That's not true.
Yo, Gambit, we get that you heard Anaconda once or twice, and it's laughed.
So let's go. Let's go. We got a lot of other people. KTN, Smooth, and then Sig. And we're running out of time for this part. Of course, the conversation will continue afterwards because we have more content for you. But you know, I want to respect everyone's time. So go ahead, KTN.
Wait. Can I say something really quick? Because oh my God, Gambit spread a big piece of misinformation. Holy fuck! By the way, depending on which vaccine you get, you cannot contract all of the symptoms that could come from the actual virus,
Literally
especially
said
if
that
you get the
word for
mRNA vaccine.
I said that word
right?
for
Because
word.
the way mRNA vaccines work, it's completely different from the way traditional vaccines work. I just want to say that is not true.
Okay.
You literally lied. I literally said only one of the protein is inside of the mRNA vaccine. It's replicating one of the 29 protein. I specifically said of the proteins, we don't know what causes the erectile dysfunction that WebMD, LA Times, Washington Post,
Yeah,
there's
and
like
you
9. Oh
literally
no, I'll
said-
let you finish. I'll let you finish the bullshit that you lied on me about, right? So
I didn't lie.
I never made the claim that because this is possible with the virus, that it's definitely possible with the vaccine. I specifically said it could not be possible because the vaccine is only one of the 29 proteins. I was extremely careful what I said. So
Okay.
please don't lie on me.
All right.
Yeah, you rewind the VOD and you've been caught in
can.
4K
You can.
because
You can
you
rewind it.
just
You can rewind it. Go ahead.
You mean 720p?
literally just walked
KTN.
it back.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna
shit.
hand it off. I'm gonna hand it off because fuck Nicki Minaj.
Smooth. Go ahead.
Okay, so oh my God. Okay. mRNA. Okay, mRNA it's simple. It's instructions. Okay, like somebody made a really cute video. I'll link it. I'll link it in the Discord chat. It's really cute and adorable. Basically, all it does is show your body like, hey, anything that looks like this, attack it.
Yes.
That's literally all it does.
Yes.
There's that correlation that somehow those two things came together is that's misinformation in and of itself. That's how stereotypes get formed. Like basically like, yo, black people are violent. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, black people aren't violent. They just they see some videos where black people are, you know what I'm saying, fighting or doing whatever, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever. And they assume they make their assumption that all black people are violent. That's literally the same. It's literally the same thing. Your Walmart example is literally the same misinformation. It's the same thing. Would we come on here and talk about it though? Absolutely not. You're right on that aspect. Absolutely not.
I would.
But that doesn't
100%.
mean that's speaking to our vaccine hesitancy. That's not. Nobody up here is saying that we're anything that happens that says that causes vaccine hesitancy, we're adamantly against. Like, no, if it's actually true, we're for good, true information. That is what we're on here talking about. Whether or not information is true. And her information is categorically false. That's it.
That's
That's all I
fair
wanna
or
say.
If you
not.
really want to talk about the science of this, we can.
Okay.
No.
Nah, I don't think this is the place
Bro,
to do
I've read
that.
the
I,
medical
well,
Because
I-
we
I
really
think-
I have
can't
to
talk
step
about
out from that
because what you
conversation.
just said
Okay.
is
that
actual
actually worked
misinformation.
on the
Okay,
vaccine.
hold on.
I talked
Hold on.
to actual like medical professionals that worked on
No,
the
you
vaccine.
didn't. No, you didn't.
I-
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
Actually,
no,
he
I
has.
actually-
No,
no,
okay,
I
hold on,
actually
hold on.
did.
Smooth,
I'll
smooth,
give you
smooth,
this
smooth,
information,
smooth.
like-
I got this. Hold on. Before I let KTN go, because KTN is next. The same
KTN.
thing. The same thing, because you're saying, hey, we're having this discussion. You're making the assumption again about saying that it's our vaccine hesitancy. And the thing
It
is,
is.
it's like,
That's why
no,
we're
it's
having this
no, it's
conversation.
no. Actually, no, we're having a conversation because it was a topic. My stance on the vaccine.
Why was it a topic? Is what I was saying.
Yeah, no, but you're saying us.
You didn't
It's- it's-
listen. You don't
no,
listen.
because
You just rebuttal
listen,
the
listen,
ass.
listen to what you're saying. You're saying the reason why we're having this is because of my vaccine hesitancy, or my viewpoint
No,
on
I
vaccine hesitancy.
specifically said the left, right? And specifically, you could say I was talking about Prime. I specifically said this is a conversation because of how like the left feels about vaccine.
No, but then you said
you
you guys
specifically said y'all.
I said
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys
You
feel
said
the
y'all.
way
You didn't say left.
So if you say
no,
y'all, that
no,
is us, and then right now,
Right,
and then
y'all-
and then the thing
So-
is,
so-
you're assuming
okay.
again with
I
smooth.
said the reason you feel the way you do about this topic is because of vaccine hesitancy. I said the reason why we're talking about it, the reason why it's a topic on this platform right now, is because generally how the left feels about anybody that's
No, but you
hesitant
said
on
the reason why
vaccine.
the way I do, I feel it's not because of vaccine hesitancy.
It's simple, bro.
No,
I'm
the
not even
reason
saying
I feel is what I do
complex.
is because what you said, and right now you're saying that smooth didn't talk to a medical professional. You don't know that. You're
I
making an
didn't say he
assumption.
doesn't talk to medical professionals.
You
What
you
you
literally
saying?
just
What the
did.
fuck
you
you
literally
doing?
just said it.
No, I said what he said wasn't scientific and it wasn't correct.
No,
I said,
and
if you
then
wanna
he
talk
said, and then
about
he
the
said, I talked
science,
to
we
medical
can.
professionals, and he said,
Nah,
no,
bro,
you
you're
didn't.
backpedaling.
Yeah,
You're
you said
backpedaling.
you said
No, I didn't.
no,
I
you
take my concession.
you
I
did
take
say
my
that.
concession from
I
you, bro.
said no. I said if you want to talk about the science in this, we can because what you just said is
man.
not the science.
Yeah, and then he
Y'all
said,
can
I
go
talked
clip
to
this
medical
shit.
professionals, and you said, no, you didn't.
Someone go clip it. Someone go clip it. Because
Chat,
you
please
definitely
clip.
did- you
Yes.
Please clip
definitely
him
did
walking
say-
it
He
back.
said, she
No,
said,
you
shit,
didn't.
please.
You,
No, I did not.
You
you
please stop with
no,
the
you
clip
didn't.
it.
Specifically, what
Yes.
Smooth
I just
said
met
was that
him.
he
Sick.
talked to people who
It's
worked
fine.
on the vaccine.
Yeah.
I was
All
gonna
right. So
noted.
go ahead, Sig.
All right, I was just gonna say, like, you were Gambit, you said it before, is that you were just like, hey, this is how science works, right? People just sort of report their like symptoms and stuff like that. Now listen, I think that like going to your doctor about like being impotent after you took the vaccine is completely different from like, reporting this to like 22 million people. Okay. Now, if someone got impotent, hold on, if someone got impotent, like doing science, right? There's a difference between that and like what Nicki Minaj did. And why what Nicki Minaj did is dangerous. Okay, if someone is experiencing some symptoms they never had before after taking the vaccine, they should report it and they should go through the proper channels. Twitter is not a fucking proper channel. Okay, that's not the right way to go about it.
Like
We're not saying don't report symptoms. No, I'm sorry.
You're saying the same thing you said earlier. You don't like how it was said, or in the
because that is because
the medium it was said in.
Okay, this is
But there's a
completely
lot
relevant.
of people that don't care about that opinion.
Okay,
I'm
there's a
one
lot
of
of people that don't care. That doesn't make it not relevant. You keep saying a lot of people don't care. Yeah, a lot of people don't care. That doesn't make it not relevant.
I'm just saying that you're not submitting anything new. You can say it again.
Okay, you said that's how the science works, right? You were just like, people just report this stuff. People talk about these symptoms. Do you not remember what you were talking? I know there was a lot of shit. Little bit
I remember
before.
exactly what I said.
And I'm saying that's not how the science works. I'm saying that is completely false. That's not how science works. Science needs to be like categorized. Oh God, there's a method to it. Literally, the scientific
They do
method.
studies.
That's how
Peer
science
reviews.
works. It's not just I take vaccine, I suddenly get symptoms.
I think what Gambit was trying to say that they don't start the scientific method adverse symptoms enough, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, let's go check it out. Let's see if that's actually true."
So even when we talk about like clinical medicine, surprisingly, is a lot different than people think it is. Everything that they do in like hospitals doesn't necessarily come from like a double blind study. A lot of it does come from like, oh, we've noticed this in lots and lots of patients. Right. However, there are proper channels and proper ways to go about reporting things like that, to go about questioning things like that, and to go into making medical decisions. Right.
Because you have to prove
and like
causation.
the whole point is like Twitter isn't the place, right, for a lot of these things to be done. And I even said there are ways that she could have tweeted about this that I would have been totally okay with, but the way she went about it was like spreading misinformation.
Okay.
Science
Okay.
proves causation. They prove actual cause and effect relationships. That's what science does. That is the whole backbone of science.
We don't have
It's, it
infinite
proves
We're talking
calories.
the
about
cause and effect
medicine
relationship.
here, right? That's not how medicine always works.
But I'm saying that when they do a study, they're setting out to prove, does this medicine in fact cure said disease? That is, I input medicine and it causes cure. That is what that is.